Hi, everybody. Hopefully everybody's doing fine. Sorry, I'm a little late. I had something I had to get finished, and I'm like, oh, I have to run. And I didn't want to do it on my phone. I wanted to be on my computer. So I hope everybody's fine. I'm gonna let people come in. Hopefully somebody will come in. Hi, Magic Mulatto. How are you? Hopefully everybody's fine. Let's see here. So basically, I'm trying to get some people in here. So hopefully people will start coming in because they now I'm late. So I'm sure they're like, oh wait, he might not do it. So I'm just gonna wait just a few minutes. So hopefully everybody's fine. Let me see. How do I put the link in the bio? Hi, how you doing, Azura? Is it Azura or Azure? Bonjour, Azure. Now I have to remember how to do this because I've only done one live a long time ago. So I have to figure out how do I put the link in there. One moment, let me get my BRB. One moment. Ah, just checking. How do I put the link in here? So it's Azure. Azure. How do you say it? How do you say your name? How do you put the link in there? Let me see. How do I put the link in? Settings, present, invite. Oh, here we go. I guess I have to do the invite. Oh, there we go. I figured it out. It's been a while because I haven't done this in so long. Azure. Azure. Okay, got it. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. It's a nice name. I love that name. It sounds kind of French. Is it French? Sounds French. Azure. Azure. Yeah, I just wanted to get together and talk to people about, do you feel that this community, the mixed community, has a significant presence on all platforms? Oh, yeah. Azure. Fancy shade of blue. Okay. Oh, it's a beautiful name. I wanted to know if do you feel like the mixed community has a significant presence on all platforms? I've been doing some research outside of YouTube to see if we have some sort of resources, because there used to be websites maybe in the 90s. I remember there was an actual website called mulatto.org, and it was like slightly like a dating website, plus people could share their feelings and ideas about being mixed, just anything. Basically we could talk about everything, and it was up for a while, and I think you had to pay for a membership at the time. You couldn't just join, and but it's gone. It's gone. I checked to see if it was still around. It's gone. But it was actually kind of a big community called mulatto.org. It was really quite a bit of a significant number, because I remember it was a lot of people had signed up on that website. It was a lot of them. And I used to say, wow, that's a wonderful website. Even though I was like iffy about the name Mulatto, I was like, Mulatto? Do we really want to call ourselves Mulatto? Because I really have mixed feelings about the different names, but then I kind of got over it, because I'm thinking, well, you know what? You can call yourself anything you want to. If you feel like you're mulatto, then you're mulatto. You have a reason to call yourself that. Hopefully something positive that you've taken away from it. And really, to tell you the truth, those are some of our descendants. Those people that were there back in the day, who were called mulatto at the very beginning. Those are some of our ancestors. So we need to I had to say to myself, I have to connect to that. I have to connect to those ancestors, even if they call themselves or were called something that they didn't claim, that they did not create themselves, but they were given to by dictators. Do we shun those people because they call themselves mulatto? I'm not going to do that anymore because I had issues about that word. I really did. I'm like, are we going backwards are we romanticizing slavery when we go, hey, I'm mulatto? Yeah. Like, okay, well, that's just like calling yourself a mule because it means mule or young mule, actually. And just because it sounds fancy and it's like a Portuguese Spanish word, people just like, oh yeah, okay, mulatto. Because, in the Latin community, they accept the word. They see it as something beautiful. When you're mulatto, you're beautiful. And I started doing my research on it. I said, you know what? They changed something negative into a positive. So all I can do is accept that and say, you know what? I get it. I get it. I get it now. But I wanted to know if anybody has seen any really significant, helpful online websites. I've searched and I've searched and I've searched. Now, there's a lot of articles about us. There's a lot of people going, oh, the mulatto or the mixed people or the biracials. And it's just like a little article, and somebody might have been interviewed. They talk about their mixedness. They talk about it, and they talk about it in a way of like they've accepted themselves and that they know who they are, but they still are told they have to choose a side. So I've seen a lot of those articles, but there's no like real resource. You know what I mean? Like there's not this, oh, hey, this is what, this is what we're doing. And these are the different people you can talk to. And, it's not like a community like that. I haven't seen it as of late. The only thing I've seen is here on YouTube, which was in the past. I think I started getting into this. I guess it was a golden sphere thing at one time. It was a golden sphere, and they were having a conversation of sorts. They were talking about what can they do to become a community offline, and they were talking about getting land and producing a generation of mixed people in a specific part of America. It was interesting. It was interesting conversation because it was talking about divesting, and I thought that was a very interesting concept. I'm like, oh, you want to divest, you want to leave the, I guess, Black community and the white community and have our own thing. And I thought that was interesting, but I said, could it actually happen? Okay, so Azure says yes and no. Let's see. Let me click onto you. Azure says, it says, are you first generation biracial? Yes, I am. First generation. I have one Black parent and one white parent. And then Azure says, let's see. I have to, wait a minute. I need to increase my screen. My screen is so small. Let me see if I can, because I want to be able to see this. Okay. Ooh. Azure says, yes and no, the culture varies from platform to platform. What happened here? I just did something. Well, let me just, one moment, guys. I have a technical issue. Oh, gosh. Okay. I'm trying to navigate this thing. It says, yes or no, the culture varies from platform to platform. Facebook makes spaces are more peaceful. Now, I haven't really gone on Facebook in so long. I very rarely use Facebook, but I need to go back there. Because now you're saying that there's a platform for us. I had no idea because generally speaking, Facebook was, okay, people with their little pictures and stuff, and that was it. I didn't even know they had a platform on there. Okay, so I'm going to have to check it out. I'm going to have to get on Facebook and see what they have. Now on Facebook, can you talk to people like we're talking now, or do they have live? I guess they do have Facebook Live, yeah. So I guess you can do that. And I guess, how are they? Have you gone to a Facebook Live about mixed people? Because I would like to know a little bit more about it. If you want to chime in, Azure, you can click the link and I'll put you on and we can have a conversation about it if you want to talk about the Facebook Live platform. That would be nice because I don't know too much about Facebook platforms for mixed people. because I literally don't go on Facebook. Rarely, if ever. I think I went on Facebook not at all this year. Last year, maybe 5 times. It was only just to say hello to people, and that was it. So I have been looking for online resources, just an organization that actually does stuff offline as well, not just online, but like you can meet people and hang out, go to a party or something that's about celebrating being mixed, something that talks, has to do with us, like a community, and hey, I got all these friends, and we go and we hang out, we do things, we go to functions, we throw parties and stuff like that. That would be nice, wouldn't it be? Just like any other kind of group that you can join. Hi, the future is golden. How are you? Yeah, future is golden. I was a little late. I'm sorry about that. I totally had something to do. Hello, Honey Rose. How are you? Hello. Bonjour. Bonjour, bonsoir. Depending on where you are, it could be night where you are. I don't know. Yeah, I'm glad that you're good, future. Have you seen any really significant platforms off of, other than YouTube, because YouTube is the only one I know that's really doing anything, that deals with being mixed and creating some sort of a safe space? Because I've been looking online, I haven't seen anything. I've just seen articles about us, like people talking about us, like third person articles, where they're like this and they're like that. And, you might get a few people that have been interviewed that are mixed, and they talk about, well, hey, we still need to be recognized. But there's no platform like an organization online where you can join and talk and it has different things, like people that do music and do art, people that talk about maybe running a business. I mean, I haven't seen it, because maybe years ago it was there was a site called mulatto.org, and it was kind of funny, because at the time mulatto to me it never resonated with me, that word, because I'm like, oh, does that mean slavery? One moment, guys, my phone is going crazy. Community locations, virtual visits. My YouTube just popped on. What's going on? Easy access to local specialty care if you need. One moment, guys. Sorry. Anyway, technical stuff. Anyway, yeah. So I remember that one site, mulatto.org, and it was so funny to me because that name, mulatto, it was so like, even back then I'm thinking, come on, people don't call themselves mulatto, do they? Because I'm from the generation where we didn't even have that word. Like, it never really came up in anything. Even in our history classes, I don't even really remember talking about mulatto people ever, really. And of course, I went to an all-white school, parochial all-white school, and so we didn't learn anything about really Black people or mixed people. Definitely not mixed people. So I'm like, I don't understand. What is mulatto? And I thought it was a funny name. I just thought it was hilarious. Oh, okay. So Future is Golden says, let's see. I think this space has tried to build a community, but everyone has different ideas about what it should be like. True, because we are very diverse. We're very diverse people, just like any other community. We're not a monolith. And I think that the problem is that instead of people saying, okay, we are diverse, let's accept that we're diverse, but can we come together on things that we have in common? What would you like to see in a group? Would you like the group to be about politics? Would you like the group to be about being an artistic, creative? Do you want the group to be about dating? Do you want, so where can we meet in the middle? What do we have in common? I think a lot of things we have in common is we want a better quality of life. We want to make more money. A lot of us, we want to be more financially secure. We want to have a better living situation, like living in an area or a house that we would, are trying to achieve that level of having our own house and cars and all that stuff. I mean, it could be a lot of different things that we can meet on. So it doesn't have to be one thing, but I think it needs to have some sort of commonality, something that we have in common that we can agree upon. Hi, Honey Rose, Grand Marchand Ultime. How are you guys doing? Honey Rose says, what decade were you all born? I'm 90s baby. I'm a 90s baby as well. And Grandma Shah, hi there. And hello, folks in the chat. First time watcher. Yes, thank you for coming. I just want to get people's feedback. Do you feel like we've gotten far in our agenda of trying to just be recognized as our own race? And with that, not only just being recognized as our own race, having a community where we feel like we are part of something. Like part of my culture is Creole. You know, part of it would be the Creole culture. Now, the Creole culture has been around since the 16th century. We have our own food, our own language, our own flag, our own culture, our own, you know, we have, and we're recognized as a separate race. Even if people don't say, hey, you know, those are just the Creole and that's the Creole area. I mean, basically we have that in Louisiana. Now, it used to be back in the day, you may or may not know that this, I had to do research on this, but back in the day, anybody that was mixed was called Creole, and it was a respectable name. It didn't come out of slavery or something horrible. It's not derogatory. It's not a slur. It's an actual group of people that are mixed. And even in the Caribbean, people were called, even to this day, I think people are still called Creole in certain islands in the Caribbean. Oh, they're Creole. Oh, they're Creole. And they've been called that for centuries, forever. And I think, you know, America likes to wipe away people. You know, they want to get rid of people that they're intimidated by or feel that you're going to come and take over. America does that. So they try to eliminate the word Creole. And so people stop using the words as much as they, you know, used to. And they stop using the word, I think there was another word. There's a guy on here that had like a list of all these different names that we used to be called that are archaic. They no longer use them. But I'm like, wait a minute. So, and they were respectable names, respectable. It wasn't like say the word mestizo. To me, that's a respectable name. That just means somebody who's mixed with Native American, I think Native American and Spaniard. So, I mean, there were some respectable names. I feel like, you know, we had some respectable names. But being born in the 90s, I feel like we came at it in a time where people weren't really, how do I say this? People weren't talking about mixed people as much, or I don't think it was a subject of discussion. I don't know, because we were considered Black, right? We were considered Black. So, hey, you're just Black. So one drop, we got one drop. Okay, so Honey Rose says, yeah, oh yeah, Multi and Gigi has caused a lot of problems and division. Same other people have their own ideas, but they don't cause as much issues and division. That's kind of true. Hi, Mr. Uncommon Sense with Jose Negron. How are you? Hola, ¿cómo estás? Contigo. Es todo bien aquí. Es todo bien conmigo. My Spanish isn't good, as obviously you can tell. It's very, very gringo or white white person. But anyway, thank you for coming. You know, I just want to get people's feedback on, do you feel like there's enough resources for mixed people? Do you feel like we have our own safe spaces online and offline? Because just like in other cultures, they have these parades and they have all these wonderful the day of whatevers. And we don't really have that other than the Creoles in Louisiana. We have our day there. We have our culture there. But how can we make that more universal? How can we include everybody? It doesn't matter if you're Latino. It doesn't matter if you're French. It doesn't matter if you're German. It doesn't matter if you're from the UK. It doesn't matter if you're from one of the islands in the Caribbean. I think we all could be this lovely, wonderful mixed group. We don't have to divide ourselves, and we don't have to on issues, quote unquote, and we don't have to divide ourselves based on culture, because we're all mixed, right? If we're all mixed, and we know that we need to be recognized, because we're not really recognized at the level that everyone else seems to be recognized in a respectable manner, then we have some work to do, I guess. Right? Oh. We have some work to do. We surely do. And I love it what Mr. Negron, I mean, yes, Mr. Negron, right? He says, mixed people need a space where all of you can share your views. Yes, it's just having, what do you feel about this issue that happened? What about if one of us gets elected like Obama? When Obama became the first mixed biracial president, how do we feel about him being called black? Just black? His mother doesn't exist. His grandparents don't exist. His other relatives that are white don't exist. He's just black. So we only get to know about his father and Michelle. That's it. That's all we got to know. And I'm thinking that to me, I felt like we're being left out yet again, because he can't say anything. See, Obama couldn't really say anything. He couldn't say, you know what? Hey, I'm not black. I'm mixed, because then that would have been seen as, oh, you don't want to be black. You hate being black. How does wanting to recognize all of that you are hating black people? It's not. I love black people. The black people I know, I love them just like a regular brother or sister or cousin. So I don't know where they're getting this. Oh, you hate black people. Oh, I'm like, no, where do you get that from? And I think a lot of people are getting it from online. A lot of people are getting it from online. Same, and Honey Rose says, some of us want to get away from hood culture. Some people consider that anti-black. That's true. And again, there's more than one black culture, like anybody else would know. It's a very diverse community, but they're allowing those people who are hood to rule over the community. There's something called Black excellence. I look at like Angela Bassett, Barack Obama, Michelle Obama. Michelle Obama will be considered to me black. Oprah Winfrey, black excellence. Denzel Washington, black excellence. And I can go down the list of all the black people, monoracial black people that have done wonderful things, from politics to creative, and they're nothing like the hood people. So I think people are getting confused. Maybe it's just the hood people are making it sound that way. Maybe they're the ones that are vilifying us, because I have yet to meet an educated black person that vilifies us. They don't do that. And then the future goal, I don't think there's anything anything wrong with Obama being a part of the black community, but I would have liked to see some mixed representation in his persona. Yes, I felt the same way. I'm like, why does he ever talk? But he kind of did talk. He did talk about his grandparents extensively, and he did talk about his mom. I remember him talking about his mother and his grandparents. He said, I was raised by my grandparents in Hawaii. This is what my life was in Hawaii with my grandparents. Yes, they didn't really understand black people, because even he felt like he was just black at one point, because the way he looks and the way people treated him, I guess they one dropped him. So you're black. So I think he had identity crisis at one point. And so he accepted, oh yeah, I'm black, whatever. And even white parents will tell their kids, and they need to educate themselves more. Oh, you're black. I'm not sure why they do that. So they're like eliminating themselves from the equation. Well, no, they're not black. We're not black. We're mixed. We're biracial. You're part of you're one of my parents. I have your DNA, and like I could have a baby, and the baby can have green eyes, blue eyes, gray eyes, straight hair, blonde hair, brown hair, whatever color, but it could be totally more leaning towards Caucasian than African. So why can't I say I'm mixed? And I've noticed that about people. They do that. And here's Grand Mochon. Excuse me, guys. I'm a little congested because I have a slight cold. But anyway, it says there are hood mixed light-skinned folks. We just cut them off. Only the bourgeois. I mean, I'm fine with that. But that's not all. The folks are stated earlier. Yeah. But yeah, that's true. There's a lot of hood. There's definitely some hood mixed people. Come on, look at Drake. Well, even though Drake isn't really... Drake is a great businessman, and he's a great actor, okay? And he's figured out the code. The code was, I'm going to be that guy who nobody expects could be a rapper and and study what rap is and become a rapper. He's smart. And then he parlayed that into a very successful multi-million-dollar business for himself. And he's really not hood. He's from Canada. Come on. He's from Canada. He grew up in Canada. Hello. There's nothing hood about Canada at all. Nothing at all. But he's a great, but he's considered to be hood. That's true. But you know what? Here's the thing. I don't really cut off anyone. Like, I try to get along with everybody. If you're hood, you're hood. I totally get it. I totally get that. And I'm not trying to say that your culture is not valid. I mean, everybody's culture is at some point valid. So I do try to meet somewhere in the middle when I'm around an environment that might be like, say, if I go to a club. I've been to clubs that were in the hood, and I've been around people that were hood, and I had a great time. And I actually had a great time. I was scared, but I had a great time because of the music was good and the people seemed to be fun, and and we had a great time. But I got out of there as soon as it was time to go. I was out of there like a good hour and a half before the place closed down. I was gone. I was out of there. Okay, I got me an Uber and got the heck out of there. But I don't vilify them. I understand that the reason why. This is some of the psychology that I've been trying to research on, why people become hood and why people become like gangster, because they look at America, and America was taken over by the Pilgrims, who killed off almost all the Native Americans. Then they brought over the slaves from Nigeria and different parts of Africa. And all we know is blood. It's like America's got blood on its hands. And everybody who's got money, old money, seem to have had their hand in slavery or some sort of thievery, that they took money from people that were the indigenous people. So I think people look at it, wow, ooh, America hates Black people. America hates Native Americans. America hates people of color. So we're going to make our money the way we want to make our money. We're going to do exactly what they do. Not that I'm saying that that's what you're supposed to do, but they go into the gang thing and blah, 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 to survive, I guess. They're trying to survive and make money off the books. And I don't know. It's a whole, the psychology. There's a lot of psychology behind it. MLS people, hello, how are you? Bonjour. Bonsoir. It says MLS people should date each other. Says he is cosplaying for the acceptance in the rap game. I kind of agree with that. That's basically what I was kind of alluding to. I didn't want to say it, but MLS people said it. Yeah, he is, because we know that he's from Canada. We know that he grew up in a very upper middle class environment. There's nothing hood about Canada at all. There's no street stories to talk about. The Mounties don't even have guns out there. That's how safe it is, and for the most part. Now, they might be trying to be like everybody else, and then you might start hearing stuff about them, but they're not known for any type of violence. Honey Rose says, at Grand March, I don't have a problem with hood culture. I just don't appreciate being called anti-Black because I don't engage in that culture. Exactly. I love my Black side. I love the Black people in my family. They're the most wonderful, nicest, most giving and loving people I've ever met ever. And so when people equate, as you said, that, we don't like our Black side because we say we're mixed. That to me is the biggest lie ever. We're the main ones. The mixed people are the main ones trying to uplift the culture, the Black culture. We're the ones, defending you. That's why we got that whole light skin savior thing for forever, right? I didn't even know what that was until maybe 2 years ago, about a year ago. Somebody called me a light skin savior. I didn't know what the heck that was, and it was from a mixed person. I'm like, oh, am I? Because I was uplifting the Black culture, saying, hey, come on, guys, let's get together with the Black culture. Let's try to be their friend, and let's go out of our way to really connect with them, and then because that's what we do, don't we? Being mixed, we know we're proud of our Black side. I know I am. I don't know about anybody else, but I love my Black side because I know what the truth is. I look at people like our leaders, our biracial and Black leaders that did something to make it better for all people of color. I look at Martin Luther King, Coretta Scott, his wife. I love him. I love his speeches. I listen to him a lot. I do listen to a lot of MLK stuff and Malcolm X stuff. I listen to him. I mean, I really love Black people. I don't have a problem with it, but I feel like we're being told that we hate them if we don't just say we're Black. If we just say, oh no, I'm Black, and just leave it like that, then that means we hate you, which is not true. Let's see. It says, oh, let me go back up. One moment, guys. I'm trying to scroll. Okay. So Honey Rose says, do we ever get that? Oh, hood culture includes more my tongue is not working today. Degeneracy that I don't appreciate. I'm not saying all hood culture people are degenerate. It's just more assimilated with that, and more people engage in degenerate behavior who are. That is true. There's some truth to that. I agree 100%. Let's see here. Ooh, these are some good comments. Excellent. It says the future is called the GMU. The hood should be improved rather than abolished. That's true, because some good things did come out of the hood. We got hip hop. Now, in the beginning, hip hop was a wonderful, positive, let's stop fighting, let's just duel it out by dancing. It was a really good answer to the violence that was happening in the culture in the 70s and the 80s. It was so much killing. From what I read and researched, there was nothing but kill, especially like cities like LA, New York, place like that. There was a lot in Chicago. There was a lot of killing. And so when they came up with the hip hop, I think it was Kool Herc, the DJ Kool Herc, who came up with the break beats and all that stuff. So when Black people created hip hop, I was like, this is wonderful. This is great. I'm glad they did that, because I saw how that took away from the violence, that people were getting into the music, becoming creative, coming up with dances I've never seen before other than in gymnastics. But I'm like, gosh, the dances that they came up with, amazing. You have to be talented to do a lot of that stuff. So I really thought that was a bravo moment. I'm like, here are people trying to get people to think differently, stop killing each other, and let's do something creative. And it became a huge thing. Look at hip hop now. People are getting Grammys in hip hop. People are making hundreds of millions of dollars in hip hop. So it really created an avenue of revenue for them, and I thought it was brilliant. But then it turned into gang culture. The gang culture was let in, and I don't know who did that. I don't know if it was the white people at the record label say, yes, let's get the gang people in here because we can make more money. And so they allow gang people to record and say evil things on record. Was it the evil white people? I mean, that's what I researched. It was like somebody said, yes, it's the white people at the label who are allowing people to come in and say all these things. And then when Black people started owning labels, then they were allowing other Black people to say hateful things about Black people. You know how it went, right? The gang culture. And this is why Tupac is dead and Biggie is dead and all these other rappers are dead, because they're allowed to say stuff you would never say in person. You would never go up to somebody, I'm gonna kill you, N-word, I'm gonna shoot you, blah, blah, blah. I mean, it's stuff that you're not supposed to say. And it's going to get you enemies. So it morphed into gang culture. Because hey, when you think about hip hop, it was so wonderful back in the day. When I listened to a lot of the older songs, they were talking about what you're wearing, how cute you were, how attractive, how smart you were. I mean, it wasn't about hating people. It really wasn't on that level. It was you might be dissing somebody, but you're not. I'm gonna come out and shoot you up. It wasn't that bad. So I mean, that's true. I don't think everybody in the rap game is degenerate, nor do I feel like that should be their moniker. But there are a lot that are doing the worst, and it's making them look bad. But I agree. Every culture is valid to a certain degree. Everything could be valid, but then there's a limit. I'm not into the whole kill people thing. I don't like that. I don't like how they treat women. I really don't like that. I do not like how they treat women in the rap game. I just don't like it. That's why I was so happy that a lot of the females started speaking up. I'm like, a lot of the females started speaking up and speaking out, and they were demanding respect. But I love my black culture. I mean, I love the black culture from food to language to the way people can dress. And I mean, I love all of that. And that's why I just want people to understand that being mixed does not mean we hate another side. And even on the other side of it, there are people who think that you get the militant mixed people who don't like the white side of the family. And I've heard mixed people saying they don't like their white mother, they don't like their white father. And that's they see themselves as black and they can't stand. They never said that they have white in them. They make sure that you don't know they have white in them. They'll do anything in the world to hide that they have another race DNA in them. They'll make their hair look like an afro, whatever they can do. Maybe tan more. Because I know this one girl online. There was a girl online talking about she tans. It was on TikTok. She tans a lot. She makes sure her skin is nice and brown, and she styles her hair in the, what I would call the hip hop rap culture, how they dress. And she's very hood. And it's just so sad to see people not like who they are. But you get that side of it too. You get people who say, I'm black. Oh, then you hate being white because your mother's white and your father's white. So you hate being white. Why would you hate being white? And I think in their mind, they feel the pain. I think they take on that pain of what's happening to black people in the media. Like you see a lot of black people getting shot, killed, stabbed, dragged, whatever. And it does happen. And we see it. We have eyes. We can see that they definitely get treated horribly and have been from the very beginning for hundreds of years. So I know that we want to take on that energy and fight for people. That's what I used to do. I used to really fight for the black community. And then it got to a point where I was being pushed out of it. I was never accepted anyway, because I don't look black enough to be black. So you get that whole, you're not even, they think you're Puerto Rican or Dominican, or you can't even, why are you even over here talking about Black Lives Matter? You're not even black. I was told that by someone in the BLM sphere. And they told me, oh, you shouldn't even be here because you're not even black. You're Hispanic. What are you? It was so funny because it's so funny. It's like, it doesn't matter what a person's culture is if they're trying to help you. It's like it's like you're on a ledge and you need somebody to help you to give you a ladder to get down. So you're not going to take the ladder I'm giving you because I'm not black enough. It doesn't make sense. So the Future Scholar says, facts, 100%. Light-skinned people continually try to uplift black people and build them up. It's true, we do, because we know what the truth is. We know that black people have been vilified, especially in America. We know the history of slavery because that's been shoved down our throats from day one. We don't get to hear about the free black people and the people who never were slaves. We never get to hear about those people, but we hear about slavery every single day when you're in school. And so therefore you feel this need of, wow, that's horrible, and you want to speak out about it and speak out against racism, and you want to really show that, that you're not 100% white, that, Hi, Sabrina E. And that you're not 100% white, you're mixed. And that most people are going to be like, what are you? What are you? The rude people, what are you? What are you mixed with? Not even, hello, my name is Cindy. What is your name? They come up, what are you? What are you mixed with? As if we have to sit there and let people, we have to be interviewed by people in a very rude way. What are you? What are you mixed with? Because I was told, that happened to me the most recent, I remember just a couple of years ago. This black lady goes, what are you? And I didn't say anything. I didn't even turn around. I'm just like, I know she didn't just ask me that question. And I don't even know her name. I don't even know who she is. She goes, what are you? I said, and I looked at her, I said, what do you think I am? Because I was like, I don't want to even have this conversation. Like, can you imagine going up to somebody who's, say, I'm not equating being mixed to having a disability, but say somebody who is blind and has a cane. Why would you ask somebody, why do you have that cane? It's like obvious that this person needs it. They need to get around. So this helps them get around. So why would you go to somebody, what are you mixed with? What are you? That's so rude. And this is an American person. So I'm like, why are Americans so quick to say something like that? I don't know. But anyway, um, so I was asked that, and I said, well, what are you? And she kind of gagged. She kind of stood there like, huh? Because I guess it never happened to her. If you're going to ask me what I am, I'm asking you what you are. Well, what are you? And I said it exactly the way she said to me. And she kind of like had that look of whatever and walked away. I said, yeah. So now you see how I feel about it. I do that now. I don't even answer people's stupid questions like that anymore. See, if people in America recognize mixed people, they would know who we are. And they wouldn't be so quick to say something so stupid. Hi, ASM. It says untrue about BC, Canada, and the Mounties do carry firearms. Well, yeah, that's true. I guess I was thinking of back in the day, because it was a time back in the day where they didn't carry firearms. Wasn't that true? Back in the day in the Canada, the Mounties didn't have firearms, or if they did, it was very few that had them, because I remember them not having them at one point from what I researched. But my research could be wrong. Maybe my sources are wrong. I find out that a lot of the stuff online is not even true, because I start researching the authors of these like articles and stuff, like really trying to find out who that, and you find out they're not even legitimate resources. They're not even legitimate writers, bloggers or whatever. Yeah, I'm acting kind of weird because I had a drink or two, so I might be coming off a little tipsy. Hopefully not. Wine. I usually am very good with wine. It's just white wine, but if I haven't drinking it in a while, it'll hit me a little quicker than it usually would. But anyway, that's why I sound a little weird. Sorry about that, guys. Let me put the link in. If anybody wants to come up and talk, because this is kind of an open panel, I just want to get people's feedback on, do you feel like we've gotten far as being an online presence? Do you feel like we've gotten to our goal in some way, shape, or form? Oh, I need to put these on here. Do you feel like we've gotten to our goal? I haven't seen anything online. Excuse me, guys. I haven't really seen anything online that talks about mixed people. Here's our resources. This is, these are the current biracial people that are doing big things in society. Here's another person that just won an award and they're biracial because they've discovered a cure for headaches or so. Like, I don't know. Have you seen that? Oh, Giorgio, how are you? Let's see. Are you on?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, cool. Great. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing wonderfully well. How about yourself?
I'm doing well, and I love your channel, and I love your positive messages. It's really needed.
Yeah, I greatly appreciate that. It's just, I don't think that we really formally met, so I thought I'd slip by for a little bit.
Well, hi. It's nice to meet you.
Yeah, likewise. So wait, what's up?
I was going to ask you, do you feel that the mixed community has an online presence that's significant and helpful?
Yes, of course. So think about a few months ago, I had Darlise Lyons reach out to me, and so far she has a successful podcast. A lot of people like to tune into her, and she
Ooh.
very much touches on spicy topics like mixed race issues and just kind of growing up mixed race or biracial, whatever you want to call yourself, and
Mm-hmm.
really good stuff. And then there's also Jasmine Jarvis, who is responsible for creating the Mixed in America Instagram page, and that actually has about 25,000 followers, whereas Darlise has more like 10,000 or more followers.
That's
So
nice.
since it's out there, we do actually have plenty of platforms to support our unique voices. So it's definitely there. It's just a matter of perseverance and just having strong will to stand up for yourself and speak your own truth.
Well,
Because it's only going to be kind of people who are like us who are going to be the ones to 100% understand just the nuance of mixed race identity.
mm-hmm. Could you please put that in the chat, the platforms that you just mentioned, their
Yeah,
name, so we
yeah.
can go
So
back, because I didn't know that.
yeah, so
I'm
looks
not
like I can
familiar with
only
it.
do it in our little private chat here, but
Okay.
I'm going to type out
Yeah, people can, yeah, so we
Dara
can,
Elise Lyons, and
yeah.
you can easily find her on Instagram, or
Okay.
you can just actually Google search her. Her name will pop
Okay.
up. So
Cool.
she reached out to me after getting like a word of mouth about my story and all that stuff.
Hmm.
And then there's Mixed in America, and the one who runs that page is Jasmine Jarvis.
Okay, excellent. Thank you so much, because I really want to take a listen, because I didn't realize a lot of them, because I've done a lot of research online and I couldn't find much. And it's good to have these lives, so we can kind of network and talk about it, because I didn't know anything about this. Thank you so much. Now, you said that you were talking about your story. Did you want to share a little bit about your story, or
Oh,
because I don't
I
know?
could I could share a little bits and pieces of it though, but probably maybe sometime we'll definitely talk a lot more about it
Okay.
since a lot of already people are already aware of it. I already even have like a
Okay.
podcast about it.
You have a
Million.
podcast? I didn't know that.
Well, it's not. I don't have like a podcast of my own,
Okay.
but I've been on to other people's podcasts
Okay.
who were just swarming me with interviews, just wanting to hear it out. So, I mean, like I still have like the links to it though, if you really
Okay.
want to
I
hear
would
it a bit.
love. I would love the links.
But yeah, I've definitely have always been open about it because I don't hide myself at all,
Okay.
unlike many other people do.
I think, for me, I think for it's my hiding myself. It's more for protection, as far as putting my, because I used to have pictures a long time ago on YouTube that I took them down. But it's just like the culture. So far, I've seen people getting attacked here online and on YouTube, and they're making videos about them, and it's just, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah,
It's a
I've
little
seen a lot
scary.
of that.
A
Yeah,
little
I've seen all
scary.
that stuff though. It's just I just stay out of that crossfire because
Yeah, and I don't.
the truth, yeah, the truth of the
Oh,
matter is that I don't follow people or things I don't like. So I
mm-hmm.
absolutely have no clue as to really what's kind of going on in other
Well, that's
sectors. But
good. That's
just due to
good.
the fact that I'm actually am currently helping out people who are
Mm-hmm.
in my shoes as far as self hatred goes, I don't have time to really get myself wrapped up in all that stuff
Mm-hmm.
because it's either I put the people I'm helping first or what's going on within the beef sectors, which I don't really follow at all.
Okay.
But
'Cause
if
mm,
but if since you're kind of curious as to where I came from, well, you
yeah.
notice how like many of us who are like maybe black white mix, a lot of
Yes.
us are like 3 times more likely to be black identifying.
Yes, that's true.
Well, even some of us are even were very white identifying as well, because
Mm-hmm.
I was definitely very, very involved and very well immersed in neo-Nazi circles too. I was
Oh.
definitely all about the white power back then,
Uh-oh.
to where I was also going to get another tattoo with the SS bolts, if you know what that is.
Not really, but I kind of,
Yeah.
sort of, in a way, have seen something, but I don't know what it really means.
Well, yeah. Well, the SS bolts were used by many of the German officers, and they were a part of Hitler's elite army, the
Oh,
Waffen SS.
okay.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Those were my circles back then. But let's just say I've gone through a lot of therapy and reformation.
Well, good for
So
you.
right now, I just got that divine inspiration to inspire others to leave those circles and to embrace the entirety of your identity.
I'm glad that you shared that, because I didn't know, and it doesn't change how I feel about you as being a great content creator and a positive force. Because I watch your videos a lot. You always have something nice to say, and it comes from a Christian point of view, and I'm like, oh, that's so nice. Or you'll get me to thinking something really positive, and I might have like a negative feeling about something somebody said, and then I'll watch one of your videos and I feel better. So I would have never known that you come from that background.
Oh yeah, yeah. To where though it was actually causing my sister to even cry though, because she actually has a very successful ministries, and
Oh,
she was
wow.
actually a part of the inspiration for me to just kind of get out of
Oh,
those
that's
very
nice.
cultish circles. And so yeah,
Wow.
she's been a very positive influence, and that's ultimately how I'm like a better version of myself than I was 2 years ago. Because let's just say 2 years ago, I was saying stuff like, I'm going to marry a white Aryan princess to dilute every nigger blood out of me. Those were words that were coming out of my mouth during the time.
Oh my
But let's
God.
fast forward 2 years later. And I'm not going to say the woman that I'm seeing right now, but I'm just going to say is that she is of our mix. And I actually like that. And I'm actually am happy that I actually am currently seeing somebody who is also of Afro descent,
Oh, that's wonderful.
because she would not want to give me a time of day if I were still in that mindset.
Yes, I'm so glad that you moved on from that negative energy. Ugh,
Oh, I'll just tell you this
that's a,
though.
that's a
That kind of
story.
self hatred is actually very common in our communities. It's
Hmm.
more common than you think. But
And
you're actually going to need those like me who
mhm,
truly understand like the nuance of self hatred and
yes.
just, pretty much inspire others to basically become a better version of themselves. Because that's ultimately what I feel that my purpose is in
Hmm.
these sectors.
I'm so happy that you moved on because that's kind of shocking. I had no idea. But you know what? Everybody has a past. Everybody everybody can bring up something in their lives that's like, gosh, why did I say that? Why did I do that? But I think a lot of it is a pressure about, to me, I feel like it's in America, we are inundated with so much propaganda of not liking yourself. And then they have their standard of beauty is white beauty in America. That's usually the standard. Okay, you have to be white, you have to have blonde hair, blue eyes, green eyes, whatever, to be considered beautiful. And that's a lot of pressure on people who are not white. That you're trying to live up to a standard. And so I think you do hate yourself after a while. I think people, because I've heard a lot of Black people, monoracials, say that they didn't like themselves. They didn't like their skin tone because they were told that they're ugly. Based on ads in the ads in the magazines, the TV shows, all that stuff. You feel like you're not valid, so you start to hate yourself. So I totally get that part. I totally get that part, and I think a lot of biracial people, we used to one drop. I guess in some ways, we want to say if you're white identified or you feel more white than Black, whatever that means. You may start not liking the Black side of yourself, like, why did I have this hair texture? Or why is my nose this shape? Because you want to be more like what you feel inside, or you want to be more like the people in your family. And you might be the one that didn't come out looking so, mixed. I don't know. It's I don't know if anybody understands that, but I feel like you do start to dislike yourself.
Exactly, though, and a lot of it also like stems from even like family dynamics, or yeah, like you mentioned, things like along the lines of societal pressures, and
Yeah.
even just the way like people perceive you and even treat you. It
Yes.
very much starts to leave some detrimental effects on your
Hmm.
personality, your behavior, your self-worth, self-esteem. The list just goes on.
See, that's the thing when you just said that the way people treat you. Because if somebody doesn't know what you are, say somebody thinks you're Mexican. I've gotten this before. Somebody thought I was Mexican. This guy's like, "Oh, I thought you were Mexican," and he said it in such a nasty way. I'm like, "So what's wrong with being Mexican?" And then he went into, "Oh, they're lazy, they're this and that," and then he started being derogatory. I'm like, "What?" I mean, you treated me bad because you thought I was Mexican, and I'm supposed to be happy that now you don't think I'm Mexican and now you're going to treat me good. Like, it's crazy because I never understood why this guy was so mean to me and was treating me bad. And I'm like, and then one day he just said it. I'm like, oh my gosh. And
Yeah,
I really was feeling like kind of sad or kind of like I've been rejected, and I wasn't part of a group or whatever. And I did feel kind of like, what am I doing wrong? And then he just said, oh, because I thought you were Mexican. And then, or I get somebody who thought I was Puerto Rican or Dominican or whatever the case may be.
yeah, I
Somebody
also grew
like,
up with that too, though, because like out here in like southern Nevada, though, I've actually have gotten a number of people ask me whether I was Cuban or something,
mm-hmm,
mainly from like Ethiopian taxi drivers who are like close friends with some of the Cuban workers out here. And
mm-hmm,
so they would always say that, well, hey, you kind of look like a lot of my Cuban and Dominican friends. But I would just say
mm-hmm,
that I think those people are excellent allies of mine, especially like Dominican content
Yeah.
creators. I mean, like Don Armando Robles,
Hmm.
subscribe to him, but that's just not really who I am.
Yeah, I do
But
accept. I accept it if people come at me in a positive way. But if see, I live in New York, and New York is a funny place. New York is so racist. People think it's not because they like, oh, you see all these cultures, but a lot of people don't like each other out here. It's really racist out here, and I get everything. I get, are you Puerto Rican, Dominican, Honduran, whatever, French, Italian. So I get everything. But it's like people say it in kind of like a I don't like you kind of way. Like they might be saying, or they might try to see if that you are one of them, and then they'll like you. So if you say, "Oh yeah, I'm Dominican," then they'll, "Oh, I love you." You know, if they're Dominican, "Oh, I love you." You know, blah blah. It's like this manipulation. It's kind of gaslighting in a way. Like it's like you're being manipulated by other people to see if they're going to like you or not based on what you say your race is. And
yeah,
it's
and
so weird. Oh my gosh.
definitely. So
It's,
I actually wanted to maybe address maybe like a couple of comments in the stream after I
please
just
do.
decided to look at them a little bit though. So I guess ASM's concern is whether I'm a troll or something. Nah, no, my story is actually real, man. It's a real thing. I've even been interviewed about it. I've even gone on to national TV about it. I've done a
Wow.
podcast about it. Like I said, public figures such as Darlise Lyons even reached out to me because she got word of mouth about it. And I actually still have like old videos of myself in my old previous circles. So, no, it's all real. Just as much as self hatred is very real, that's just not really something that I'm going to try to do for the sake of self aggrandizement or trolling.
Yeah, I wouldn't see you as a troll either because you're basically outing yourself. This is something that really is quite deep. And I applaud you for even being so transparent because I don't know too many people that would be so transparent about something like that. I don't think you're a troll either. I don't see that. I see that you're just honestly trying to give your testimony about what happened in your life, a place that you were that was very negative, and you got out of it just in time. And you came out
Yeah.
on the other side of it.
And then, like, also, just like the sake of also like taking like personal accountability too, because
Hmm.
even if like things like societal pressures or how other people have treated you push you to
Hmm.
that point, nevertheless, this world is not going to tiptoe around your problems or your traumas.
That is
You still
true.
actually have to take accountability for it, and you actually have to incorporate the problem solving skills or just the healthier coping mechanisms in order to give yourself that semblance of normalcy and healing. Otherwise, you're not going to really be able to move forward one bit. So take it or leave it.
Now, the future of thank you. The future is golden. Would like to come up as well. Let me see if I can get her on.
Yeah, yeah, totally. Hey,
And
hey,
Sean,
future.
whatever you want to talk about.
Hey,
Hey,
There,
girls,
the
what's up?
future is
Hey,
golden.
future.
How are you?
hey, Mixed Universe, how are you?
I'm doing quite well. Thank you so much for asking.
How are you doing tonight, Georgia?
I'm chillaxing at the moment. I'm in a peaceful mood, and I'm just chill.
That's
That's
Glad to see
good.
that you
good.
girls are doing
Good
so well
vibes.
too. And then about in a couple hours from now, I need to head over to like Abby's stream in regards to like films and all that other stuff. So guys, check that out if you
Oh,
guys
no,
have
check her
time.
out. I like Abby.
Yeah. So I
She's
just wanted to come up and you had asked an interesting question, which is how are we doing so far? And I
yes.
think that it's a little bit, I mean, it depends on what you're looking for. That's what
Hmm.
I would say. I
Okay.
think people have different ideas
Hmm.
of what they want a mixed race space to look like.
Yes.
So I would say that people who have similar interests, for their channels and mixed race spaces, hopefully they can create alliances, for their platforms, um so that they can kind of build, because I think there's a need for that. But that was a good question and a good topic for this evening. How are we doing so far? And I would say maybe we're halfway there. We have a space, in a sense. There is a name that's out there. But in terms of it being coordinated or it being really solidified, I would say we're still a work in progress, you know.
Exactly. I agree with that. I think it is a work in progress. Do you know any resources online that are substantial for mixed people?
I've started looking, there were a lot of publications regarding multiracial
Yeah.
categorization, but in
Okay.
terms of online resources, I mean, there are mixed race content creators. Like I remember Talia Voider was one.
I remember her. I know her. Yeah.
And then you know her, okay.
I love her. Yes. She's
Okay.
on TikTok a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, obviously the Golden Sphere was a space that was supposed to be kind of a resource type of space. But other than that,
Mhm.
I would say I haven't seen really a collective effort, you
Mhm.
know, that doesn't have to be built up. So, you know, Talia, I mean, to me, I felt like she kind of gained a little bit of fame and notoriety, but then I haven't seen her as much lately as I used to on
Mhm.
my timelines on different social media. But then presently, I would say there are a lot of us looking to build this space in different ways, and a lot of people have different types of voices, you know, and I guess all of these voices are needed, you know, to
Mhm.
create the quality. Because, of course, everybody is going to be coming from different backgrounds, young and old, you know, philosophical, you know, people were talking about hood. I'm
Yeah.
like, some people like hood culture, you know.
There's nothing wrong with
Some,
that. Mhm.
yeah, some people want a more elegant, upscale
Mhm.
type of spaces. So, yeah, it would just need to be built out and collectivized would be what I was saying. But I have not known that there are specific spaces that
See?
are established. Yeah.
Exactly. That's what I've noticed too, because the only time I saw something that was for mixed people, specifically black and white mixed, it was called mulatto.org. And that was years ago. I think
I
that was
know that one. That
90s,
was
right?
back in the early 2000s. That
Oh
was
yeah,
like during
2008.
like my MySpace days. Yeah, I know about it.
Yeah. And I thought that was it was funny because I didn't really understand the word mulatto and I thought it was a funny name. But then I did like the fact that they had a website and it was like a resource and you can network and date and all that stuff. And I thought it was great, but it's no more. It's been
Yeah, that was back in the
dismantled.
2000s. But
Yeah.
yeah, I remember that.
And I haven't seen anything quite like that since. And I just was like, wow, what's going on with us? And then when I got on YouTube, of course, as you mentioned, there's all these different spheres: golden sphere, mixed sphere, mulatto, Creole, biracial, mixed. I mean, it's just, and it can be diverse. I think we can be diverse, and I think it's wonderful. But I would like to have something where everybody can go and go, hey, we got some updated news about somebody that's biracial that did something wonderful, or it just I don't know, just something where, or people get together offline where you can meet people and hang out and do things during the day or night, whatever it may be, but you can meet.
Yes, meetups.
And
Mhm.
I don't see that. I don't see that kind of connection. And then we're not really recognized here in America as being our own race. So why is that? In 2023, we still haven't been recognized as our own race? That's
Yeah,
scary.
we still haven't. We still haven't. We're working on that, and I
Mhm.
think we're coming up with terminology as well. In fact, there's been some heated discussion over terminology, but I
Mhm.
think it's a good thing. I don't feel like it's a bad thing. I think it's a good thing because it means that people know that it's a necessity
Yeah.
and that it's going to happen. So, I mean, there's going to be a new census coming out in
Ooh,
2030. And of
true.
course, if people can really collectivize and, um, you know, pick a specific terminology, have it approved, you can have something that you can identify as, nationally
Yes.
instead of relying on a variety of different terms and everybody's calling themselves something different, yet
Mhm.
we're all pretty much the same thing.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to come up for a few minutes. I
Yeah.
love the fact that you did a live stream. I'm so happy to have met you this evening.
Thank you for your
Formally. Yes, and
and
I
I
love your platform
and I
and
love
yours as well, George Jor. And I hope you both have a good evening.
Thank you, Future, and I love your
Like,
content.
yeah, likewise, Future, and please come again. God bless.
Okay, thank you.
You're amazing. Thank you. Oh, she's so wonderful. I love her content. Love, love, love her content.
Same.
I pop in and out. Because the reason why I kind of stopped doing a lot of stuff on my channel, because it was all this negative energy, and I pulled away from it. I said, what is going on? People yelling and screaming and arguing with each other. And I'm like, I didn't sign up for that. I did not want to be a part of almost like a race. It was almost racist. It was like this racist thing going on. And I was like,
the only advice I have about that is just to not allow yourself to become collateral damage to that.
that's it.
Yeah.
You can't be part of any of it.
Yeah, because like for people who are doing that, like I mentioned earlier, though, I found out a way to set, I guess, my controls to where their stuff doesn't even get recommended on my news feed on YouTube.
Okay.
Because a lot of their stuff can still appear on your news feed even if you're not sub to their channels. I found that out.
Yeah.
But I found out a way to disable that option. Because it's either I have to put all that stuff first, or I actually have to put the people that I'm trying to help out first, such as making them stay away from toxic ideologies that'll just bring them right back to a very dark place.
Okay. Yeah, it can be very dark, very, very negative. And that's why I pulled away. And I was like, oh my God. I even changed my name because I used to be called the Golden People. And then they vilified the name Golden. They made it such a horrible thing. People felt like if you're saying that you're golden, that you hate Black people. I'm like, no, I don't. Golden is just a skin tone. And then they're like, well, you're a colorist. I said, well, no, because everybody has a color. You have black, white, yellow. Why can't we be golden? And I was getting, oh, you're a colorist. And I'm not. I'm just talking about my phenotype. That's it.
Yeah,
It's
like as far as like I guess some little conflicts or like beef regarding like terminology usages, I am like this at this point is how about be able to call yourself whatever you want to be called and just have pure and utmost autonomy over your own identity, and then that way we can all be happy. So if you want to call yourself FGM or MGM or mulatto or Creole or Creolato or Eurasian or
Creolato, never heard of that.
How about like put it all on the U.S. Census, and that way we can actually all be happy. Ooh. I'm all for that at this point in this time. Now, I think all that stuff is achievable, but going back to what you girls were saying, though, is that it is going to be a while and a work in progress because it's only been since 2000, 2001 since we were even allowed to check more than one on applications and on forms. And technically speaking, 2000 or the early 2000s, that wasn't that long ago at all. So being able to select like multiple racial like boxes on your applications or forms, it still is very, very recent, because a friend who I have who's like us in Arkansas told me though that he actually was not really allowed to do that at the DMV. Yeah, Future says Creolato. Yep, I've heard that one too. I mean, I'm like, if that's going to make people happy, go right ahead and say Creolato. Maybe that can actually fit me probably better though.
I call myself Creole, so I've been doing that forever. I mean, but I like the fact that you did say that it should be diverse. It should be letting the person have their own autonomy, define themselves the way they would like to see, how they identify, and everybody would be happy. I think everybody would be if you can define yourself for yourself and that it's valid.
Exactly. Now, I will admit about like a few days ago, I freaking snapped, and I'm not going to go into why I did or what happened because it's over with. I apologize for all that. But what I'm going to say is that have your own autonomy over your own identity, identify as you see fit, and let's just all give ourselves now at least some semblance of peace and normalcy.
Okay, that's nice. That's a good
Yeah,
thing.
so yeah, Creelado, I've heard that one. If you want to say that, go for it
Actually,
though,
I've
because
never in my life heard until you said it, and did you said it? Then they posted. I've never in my life heard that. Where did that go? Okay, I like it. It's funny. It makes me laugh. Like Creolato. It sounds like a you
yeah,
get at Starbucks. It's like a drink. I want
he
a Creolato
definitely.
with whipped cream, no ice.
Hmm.
I like it. It's cute. It's a cute name. Maybe
Most
I'll name
definitely.
a dog Creolato if I get a puppy.
Yeah.
Creolato.
Creelado. Oh, so
That's
I'm
so
reading like I guess MLS people should date each other. I'm reading the comment.
funny.
The person says, "What is the person says? I'm tired of all the subliminal dissing." Well, I'll tell you this though, I definitely have had people take screenshots of people making subliminal shots at me, but I'm like, guys, I don't care about that guy, or I don't care about what he's saying though, because again, I'm putting the people who I'm inspiring to help first, way
Mhm.
before I'm putting whoever's making subliminal shots at me. That stuff doesn't bother me at all. I don't even care about it. It's irrelevant. And that's not going to really be conducive to our success or conducive to getting any kind of work done that's actually going to be collectively beneficial.
That's what I'm looking for. Collectivism. How can we
Yeah.
all come together and benefit from something that we're doing? Like any
Yeah.
other
So,
culture, like any other culture.
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like I told folks, I do not follow things or people I don't even like. So thank you guys for, I guess, trying to have my back, but I don't care what kind of hate comment or whatever I'm getting. That means absolutely nothing to me at all. So don't send me that stuff. Thank you.
I'm glad you're at a place where it doesn't affect you. That's a good thing because you have to have thick skin on social media because
I
people have deleted themselves because of stuff that people have said about them. The bullying, because I did a video about bullying about a year ago. A lot of bullying, and there's people that will say this is I'm done, and they delete themselves. So it's good to
yeah
have a thick skin. You have to have a thick skin on here. I had to develop that because I wasn't
yeah
like, hey, here I am, and I was like just like anybody else, just trying to find out what's going on, what's happening, not trying to hurt anybody, but then getting vilified. I'm
yeah
not gonna name I'm not gonna name any names, but when I first started to get into this space, I asked some people that I thought were mixed. I don't know if they're mixed fishing, but somebody who I thought was mixed. I said, well, what is the parameters? I mean, how light skinned do you have to be to be considered light skinned? Because they were talking about light skin. And then this person said, well, you must not be light skinned because you're asking. And they call me all kind of N words and horrible names, just horrible. This girl came after me everywhere I would go. I wouldn't even be on a mixed channel. And she'd come in, oh, I see you on this channel, blah, 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 blah. And then she'd say some horrible things about me. And I'm like, I don't even know who you are. All I did was ask one question and I got vilified.
yeah
So I had
yeah
a big skin. I had to learn how not to let it affect me. It took a minute.
exactly though. I mean,
I figured
like,
it.
if you're going to be like a public figure of any sort,
Mm-hmm.
you have to just learn how to actually take either the obvious shots at you or even the subliminal shots at you,
Yeah.
because this arena comes with a lot of territory. So you just have to just write it off as just childish antics and just keep it going, because you can do absolutely nothing about it. And then plus,
That's true.
I mean, like, the more and more I grow closer to my faith, my attitude is that I'm not going to take a man or a woman seriously when he or she is projecting his or her demons onto me. I'm just like, well, man, all your subliminal dissing or obvious dissing or whatever you're saying or whatever you're doing and all the other stuff, well, dude, that's just you just projecting out your childish antics and demons onto me or onto other people or whatever's going on. I don't care, but I'm not going to take that whole persona very seriously at all.
That's exactly how I had to start looking at it. Now, may I ask you a question? Why did you choose the name that you have, Millennial Mulatto?
I like the alliteration that comes with it, so because like, I am a millennial, and
Mm-hmm.
to me, mulatto means that, hey, you are of an obvious black and white mixture. I like
Okay.
that. Then also, like, I love even like my DNA results too, because it says I descend from the African Americans of early Virginia, the Louisiana Creoles, and
Oh,
early
there we go.
mulattoes of New Orleans.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. So I took that and just combined it with the generation I belong to. And that's how I formed the name Millennial Mulatto.
Okay, good. I see. That makes
Yep,
total
it's
sense. Total
pretty
sense. Yeah.
cool too.
It
So
means
yeah.
something. It meant something. It
Mhm.
wasn't just a random name. That's cool. So now the podcasts that you had mentioned earlier, is it specifically biracial content or do they talk about everything?
So like the woman who does it, her name is Jolie, though you can look her up on
Okay.
Generation Mix podcast.
Okay,
She
generation.
mainly covers like issues that relate to us, but
Okay.
at times she decides to be more creative with the format and she'll talk about other stuff.
Okay.
But more importantly, it's about providing a unique platform for us since, hey, everybody else has a platform. Why not us?
Exactly. Okay, that's wonderful. I'm glad to know because I'm gonna
Yeah,
start listening to her. I'm
it
definitely gonna when I'm
definitely
done with
is.
this, I'm gonna definitely go over there and check out her past podcasts. I had no idea. This is why this is important to have these lives and these channels because I would have never probably come upon it. It probably took forever for me
Exactly.
to find her. Yeah.
Yeah. And
The
yeah,
sad
if you decide to like interview her or whatever, though, or
part,
she decides to bring you up, though, just hey, stick true to your story and
yeah.
you will do great. Because
Okay.
as you already see that, yeah, I've been very out there with my story because, again, my old crew were even skinheads and neo-Nazis. I even
Wow.
once had a crazy roommate who even pulled off a stupid stunt in California by shooting up a church. I got that.
I
So,
heard
oh,
about that.
yeah.
I heard about that
Yeah.
online. He was Asian or something like that, I think.
Yeah, he was Chinese, though. So,
Okay. Yeah, I heard about
us in
it.
the house,
I'm
yeah,
like, oh
during
my
that time,
gosh.
so like us in the house, we had no idea that he was dibble dabbling into like the extreme Chinese nationalist party and that he was writing a bunch of
Mm.
manifestos in his room.
I didn't even know there was a Chinese.
Yeah, like and you so like out here in like
Like,
yeah, like out here in Nevada though, there's the Chinese Unification Party. And
I
so
had
we
no
had
idea.
no idea that he was rolling with that, but it looks
Oh my
like we
gosh.
all found out later that he was too extreme for that group, and so he was kicked out. And then
Oh,
he decides to pull off a stupid stunt,
a
which
mass shooting.
inconvenienced everybody in the house because then our house, oh my god, ended up getting raided
Oh my
at 1
god.
o'clock in the morning.
That's scary.
Yeah,
That
what's
is.
embarrassing about that is that when the police stormed our house, I was in my boxers and I had my dog.
Oh,
So
weird. That's weird. Okay.
it's embarrassing. I'm like, whoa.
That's scary. That's so scary. But
Yeah.
I remember hearing that on the news. I'm like,
Yeah,
what?
then like people are like thinking that
He
did
was
I
older.
like influence him to do that? I'm like, no, because by that time I was already done with my old circles and I had already moved on. But people based that on some video that they found of me 5 years ago where I'm talking
Mhm.
about basically like sniping like migrants at the southern border. So, oh yeah,
Oh, I think I
I
saw that. I think I did see that clip of you somebody posted.
that,
Yeah.
yeah, that's from
Now that I
2018.
remember.
That was
Yeah.
from 2018, way before I even knew who David Wing Wing Chow even was.
What was his name?
David Wing Wing Chow or David
Oh,
Chow.
okay. Okay.
So,
Because I
oh
bet you
yeah, I
said
had like my
Gene.
fair of like political extremism, but
Yeah.
for people who are now trying to create a narrative that I somehow influenced him to do that, answer is no.
Okay. Yeah, that's just creepy. And he was an older man too, which
He was
makes it even
68.
sadder. Like, oh, wow. He should have been retired and chilling on an island. That's
Agreed.
crazy. That's
So,
crazy.
yep, that's pretty
Ooh.
much my story.
You should write a book. You should write a book. Seriously.
Well,
I would
you and a
totally buy
handful of other people have said the same thing.
I would totally get that book. I'm sure there's some stories you could tell. Wow.
But
That's
yeah,
crazy.
so like you have like people, even haters, even those like us who want to say that, oh, Jordan was a neo-Nazi, this and that. I'm like, guys, who cares?
That's absolutely crazy. But see, if we had resources online, if we had our own thing, we'd be less confused. We'd be less. I mean, why am I? I'm like, we shouldn't. It's like I'm still researching sites right now. I can't find anything. All I see is news articles about mixed people, but nothing like a website. Like, hey, join this website and you can get all the latest news about being mixed. There's nothing like that. Isn't that crazy? I think it's our fault too because we haven't done anything. Buy Future is Golden. We
Yeah, you
haven't
have
done
Midnight Future.
we haven't done anything, I guess, to the level where it should be, where we could name hundreds of channels and websites that you can go to that are positive and edifying. We should have that at this point. But I think
Most
because
definitely, though. I mean, like all of that stuff, it's perfectly possible. We definitely have the potential to do that, but again, people can't really build anything if they don't really heal first, and they can't really build anything if people are just too busy making reaction and response videos.
and that's what it's been. People doing the reaction videos. That's all I've seen thus far. I mean, for the majority of what I've seen, the long lives and stuff has always been reaction to someone or making a video to slander someone. I'm like, what's
Yeah,
going
I
on?
don't really follow any of that stuff, and I don't care
I
about
don't
any of
either.
that stuff
I
at
don't
all.
follow it
It's
either.
just like meh.
It's just scary. It's getting scary. Somebody's gonna get hurt. I don't want anybody to get hurt. So y'all should stop doing those videos so nobody gets hurt because it goes offline. It starts online, then it is offline. So
That actually does remind me of something because, like, in my old, like, previous circles from like 5 years ago, there was this guy who was, I guess you could say, trash talking me online. But when we actually finally met face to face in real life, I was wondering, wait, what happened to the big and bad persona that you were pulling off on Facebook? More often than not, people are just LARPing as the tough guy or the tough girl, but the moment you finally make the confrontation in real life, they basically freeze and they act like the polar opposite. It's nothing more but a pure act of false bravery.
So you've actually met people and confronted them.
At the time, I did.
Oh wow!
So I'm like wondering, like, dude, you're saying
I know you
that
don't.
stuff on Facebook.
I know you don't want to name any names, but okay.
It was fine. Well, it was a long, long time ago. I'm not trying to get us or any of our people involved in that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did at the time.
Wow.
And plus, I'm not really trying to go down that route because I've never been arrested. I have no record, and I plan to keep it like that because I'm 30 years old.
Oh yeah. You don't want to go to the clinker.
Correct. But nevertheless, is that people are going to reap what they sow. And eventually they're going to make a reaction video or live stream about the wrong person. And hey, you can't say I didn't tell you so. But if people want to do that, go for it, because that's their right to do it. But I want to stay over here and actually try to edify and help inspire other people to break self-hatred, to actually seek therapy, and to strive to become a better version of themselves. Because that's actually how you build as a collective, solidified, cohesive unit. You guys can't really do that if all like the response videos are going on and everything.
Because I think that a lot of the people that do the response videos, they're trying to be like the bigger channels that get a lot of subs and views when they're attacking people and they're using false narratives. Those are the channels that get all these clicks and views. And that's not what I signed up for. I just created a channel. I wanted to be more educational. I don't want to have anything to do with talking about this person or that person. I just want to talk about biracial or mixed race achievements. That's all I wanted to talk about and discuss.
Yeah, like same here though, because since much of my family is actually like Louisiana Creole, I've also been not on the internet, but actually like in real life, have been talking to people about the early Louisiana Creole communities that were thriving and were very successful prior to the 1803 Louisiana Purchase. Because during that time, like the Louisiana Creoles, whom even some people like to dub as the early day successful independent mulatto communities,
Yeah,
they actually had a lot of dominion and influence over New Orleans.
they
But
sure
all
did.
that stuff was basically taken away
Hmm.
when Napoleon Bonaparte decided to put up the Louisiana area for sale. But
Hmm.
then when that happened, he started having like an influx of Anglo culture and Anglo immigrants coming in and basically ripping away every kind of cultural aspect from the Louisiana Creoles. So it's a really fascinating like a piece of history. And also we tend to be very like multiracial and very multi-ethnic because like in 1762, the French had actually given the Louisiana territory over to Spain just because of the fact that Spain had supported France during like their war efforts, or at least during like the whole war that France was in during, like that period of the 1860s. So Spain basically provided support. So as a gift, France gives the Louisiana territory over to Spain. So then now you
Exactly.
actually have a bunch of Spanish and Portuguese immigrants making their
Hmm.
way and establishing themselves in the Louisiana area. And that
Exactly.
actually explains why some of us actually have that Iberian blood in us, like I do.
Yeah, exactly. That's our lineage. We can trace those our ancestors. Yeah.
Hmm. And that's why even the language of Corey Vinny, in other words, Louisiana Creole, which has been around since the early
Hmm.
1740s,
Yes.
it's also a mixture of West African and then, yeah, the French, and even just a little bit of the
Native.
Spanish and Portuguese. And then, yeah, like you said, even the native too. It's a mixture. So it's not like the typical French language, though, because a person coming in from France probably
Hmm.
may not even be able to fully understand Corey Vinny
Yes, it's
or
different. It's
Louisiana
totally
Creole.
different. It's different.
Exactly. So I'm
It's-
teaching stuff like that because it seems as though people are not interested in what I have to say about that, but
I
they
really
want to draw their attentions to who's making a reaction video to such and such.
exactly.
I'm
They
not
do.
even mad. I'm just
Mhm.
disappointed that no one wants to learn
Yeah.
about the early mixed race communities. They'd rather make a response video. They rather say that I'm this, I'm that. I'm like, okay.
Exactly. I saw that video that you posted talking about the history of Creoles and the mixture, the breakdown of the mixture. And I
Mm-hmm.
put something on my channel, just pictures really, just about Creole culture, trying to get people to understand that Creole culture has been around since the 16th century. This is not new. We have a culture, we have a flag, we have a language, we have our food, we have our traditions. It's there. It's been around forever before we were born. So why can't people want to get into that? And they seem not. A lot of people, not all, but a lot of people don't seem to be too interested in that because they don't identify as Creole, even though they kind of would be called Creole. And if we were back in the day, you would be considered Creole if you were
Exactly,
mixed.
though.
So
And like, I
part of your
think that it's
culture.
something that even like me and Magic Mulata, who's in the chat, have even talked about. Because like, I think that Magic, you were a little bit unsure as to whether you really wanted to identify as that or not. So I'll tell you this. You very much look like many people in my immediate family. If you
Hmm.
were to go down at least into like the backwoods of Louisiana, which
There we are.
actually still have like Creole communities there,
Hmm.
you would blend in just fine.
Yeah,
All you
they
would have
wouldn't.
to do is learn
The
the
like
culture a little bit
accent.
more,
Yeah.
maybe even learn a little bit of the Corey Vinny language, which I
Hmm.
can speak a little bit of, like Quoi c'est
Okay.
ton nom, mes nom c'est, bon nuit, bonsoir. If you were to learn stuff like that, you'd blend in just fine, Magic, and no
See,
one would question you.
exactly. And the thing about that I love about Creole culture, because that's part of my culture, but I feel like it's been around, it's already established. That's why I was not understanding when I was seeing these channels talk about what are we going to call ourselves? I'm like, why not say Creole? And I've been saying that forever, but then nobody liked that word. I guess they think it's archaic, or they think it's not, it doesn't define them because they don't believe that they can connect with somebody from Louisiana. I don't know. It's just weird. Like nobody really gravitated toward that word. They want to call themselves Golden Sphere and other stuff, which is fine. But I'm like, why don't you ever talk about what's been established already? Creole culture is a legitimate culture, and people, I guess people don't really know that it is.
All boils down to it all being a to each their own type of scenario. To each their own, and that's okay. But it most definitely is a legitimate culture and a legitimate group of people. It's just the language itself and the culture itself are considered to be in the endangered categories.
Now, Magic Mulatto said, I don't want to claim being Creole because I'm not from Louisiana. And see, I get it. I totally get what you're saying. I totally get that.
I also want to say in Magic, though, that I'm not from Louisiana either. I was born and raised in Berkeley, California, and lived there for like the majority of my life. But the Creoles ended up spreading out. Some Creoles communities went up all the way up to New England. Some went to Texas, and a lot of us even fled to the Bay Area or Los Angeles, California. Like me growing up and going to Berkeley High School, I've actually met a couple of those who told me, though, that they were Creole.
We're everywhere. We're
not from Louisiana either. So, but
yeah,
DNA says that that's where my folks are from. So I'm just going to go by something that I can't even change.
Exactly. It's part of his DNA. And the thing about it is, like, I had to start thinking differently, because it doesn't matter where we're from. The acceptance is what we need. We need to come together under, because that's our commonality. We're mixed, right? So it doesn't matter if you're from the Caribbean islands, I accept you. It doesn't matter if you're from the UK, I accept you. It doesn't matter if you come from America, I accept you, and what state you live in. It doesn't, we're all mixed, and we have to kind of come together. It's like, let me start learning more about the Creole culture, since it's been established since the 16th century, and it's people that were free. These are free people of color. And we have our own language, our own culture, our own flag. We have everything. So why are people shunning it? Because maybe that's how they feel. Oh, I'm not from Louisiana, so I'm not going to call myself Creole. But back in the day, before we were born, anybody that was mixed was considered Creole. Even in the islands, they called them Creole. So it changed over time, where it only is designated to Louisiana, but we're everywhere. Creole people are everywhere. It just means that you're mixed. It's just a fancy word, really. That that you have European culture and some Black and Native American culture. That's all it really truly translates to.
Exactly, though. Now, I mean, like the word Creole, it was applicable to so many groups all around the world, because you have like the Creoles of Cape Verde, the Creoles of the Cayman Islands. Haitian Creoles like Thomas Alexander Dumas, who was a Haitian Creole who ended up leading a French army during like revolutionary France in the 1790s. He was a Haitian Creole man. And it just really like depends. But yeah, specifically the Louisiana Creoles, they're a little bit more specific. The Haitian Creoles were more specific, along with the Creoles of Cape Verde, because technically speaking, Creole basically comes from the Latin word crear, which basically means to like create. So technically speaking, you can call yourself a Creole, Magic, because I guess in a temporal sense, we were also created.
There you go. Hey, we learned something, right? So to me, I think people are getting hung up on the names, but again, we are a diverse culture. So if you don't want to claim Creole as your moniker, you don't have to. You can call yourself mulatto, and that's acceptable. I had to learn to accept the word mulatto and mulatta, because at first I'm like, wow, it felt like we were going backwards, because I'm like, okay, they're taking a name that's a slave name. That's how I looked at it at the time. I said, and it's like you're romanticizing slavery, because now you're accepting to be called a slur. And I thought we were going backwards with that name. But then I accepted it, but what I said was, well, if I'm going to accept mixed people and all of our different names, why am I singling out one group of people who decide to use a name that used to be derogatory, but it's been changed? I think people can change something negative and make it into a positive. And that's what I think people have done, because I know in the Latin community, mulatto and mulatta, they see that as being somebody who's beautifully mixed. They don't see it as a negative. They say it's something beautiful. So he took something negative, made into a positive.
Exactly, though. It's just because even like the word Black in itself is actually something that some African diasporas around the world don't
They
like at
don't
all,
call
because they feel
themselves.
that it was just a word that was used to belittle and dehumanize people of the African
Mhm.
continent, as well
Mhm.
as carrying out colonialist and imperialist agendas from that era, though. So
And it
there's that
was
issue, though, is step is just black is just now more socially acceptable.
acceptable.
So like if we can now be accepting of the word black, despite
Mhm.
the connotations of it during that
Mhm.
time and the origins of it, then mulatto should basically be acceptable too.
Accepted. Exactly. That's how I said it. And I think you told me that you had made a comment, and I said that's true. I agree with it. I said you're right because black was a slur. I mean, they black was supposed to be dirty, filthy, dangerous. It wasn't anything nice, and they gave that to the slaves that came over. Oh, they're black because they're dark, they're evil, they're dirty. It was a slur, and a lot of people to this day will not call themselves black because it's a slur to a lot of people,
Oh
and
yeah,
a lot
like
of
when I went to Jamaica, I got a
people.
reality check.
Hmm. They'll tell you in a second. I'm not black. I'm Jamaican.
Yeah.
I'm Jamaican. They
After
don't think
spending
I'm
a
black.
little bit of some time in Kingston and Montego Bay,
Yeah.
yeah, the lesson was definitely given to me.
And just like even when I visited Dominican Republic, they don't call themselves black. If you say, "Oh, you're black," they're like, "No, I'm Dominican," because they see that as a negative. They don't see it as this wonderful thing. They see it like, well, that's Black American, and they know what happened to the Black Americans. They were enslaved, they were treated bad, and they were segregated. So that's how they see black, the word black. They see it as a slur. But when they say Dominican, what they mean is that they are a mixed culture. That they're just not one thing. They're not one thing. They're mixed, and either they call themselves Indio or it's another word that they call themselves in DR.
Uh, there was a Trigueño. That's another one.
Triqueño, yeah,
Yeah,
Triqueño,
Trigueño. Yeah, Trigueño
Triqueño. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, that's it too.
or
So I said,
Trigueña.
yes, Triqueño, Triqueño. So it's a mixture. And Puerto Ricans do the same thing. They don't see themselves up. They'll say they're mixed. Triqueño, Triqueña. Exactly, exactly. So it's really not acceptable, even to this day, to call somebody black, depending on where you are.
Yeah, because it boils down to like racial configurations and cultural perceptions just being different depending on where you are in the world. It's not going to be
Hmm.
the same in like the Caribbean as it's not going to be in South America or the island country of Mauritius and Cape Verde,
Hmm.
or even in Africa.
Now, MLS people said the only problem with Creole is there are darker skinned, unambiguous Black people that claim Creole too. That's true, but see, the thing about the unambiguous Black people, they're accepted by the Black culture, and as mixed people, we're not. And then let's see, Magic Mulata says Dominicans told me they were enslaved too. Yeah, they do recognize that there was slavery on their island. But you see now, the Dominicans and the Haitians don't get along, and it's based on lineage and skin tone and all that stuff. So I don't
Yeah,
know.
I've definitely
A
been
lot of
following
conflict
up
over
with
there.
that though, but I didn't really feel like I really knew about that situation that well enough to do like a whole commentary on that. But one thing that I did hear is that if you were a much more of a darker skinned Dominican, then you were basically in trouble. Or there was this
That's
one,
true.
I think this one like black news network on here was saying that if you're basically a darker skinned black man, then now is not the good time to go to the DR. But I don't really know about that though. I am a little skeptical about that because you actually have plenty of darker skinned Dominicans who hate the Cube not the Cuban but the whole Dominican and Haitian crisis as much
Mhm.
as I guess everybody else does on that island. And you actually have like plenty of darker skinned Dominicans who I actually follow on my Instagram and they follow me who are basically living a normal life in places like Santo Domingo, one of the
Mhm.
bigger cities on that island.
Yeah. And see, there's a lot of higher concentration of dark skinned Dominicans in Santo Domingo. That's kind of like the area. But what I've seen, what they do, what I've seen online, some of these news channels, they were showing how the darker skinned people are being, I guess, what is it called? Targeted, or they're being stopped in the streets to prove that they're Dominican. They have to show their ID and all this other stuff to prove that they are actually have Spanish descent, and that they're not Haitian. And a lot of the American Black people that go over there, they're getting stopped to prove that they're not Haitian and that they're American. So it's a racism going on right now over there.
Oh yeah. Now this definitely is not to say that there is no racism on those islands, because there most
Mhm.
definitely is, and unfortunately, that's just a thing in every country that you can think about. But I wouldn't be
Mhm.
surprised if that were actually taking place. Now I haven't seen any videos about it though. I've just only just heard about all this though through
Mhm.
word of mouth.
Yeah, I saw a few videos where they were stopping Black Americans, and having them empty their pockets and prove that they're not Haitian. It's pretty scary, and they
As
have guns drawn on them and everything. Like,
whoa,
you're not
okay.
supposed to be here. You're not supposed to be here. Prove that you're supposed to be here, and they're putting them in jail and going through their stuff and to see if they're really Americans. And I mean, it's scary. And this is from 2022. So
Are there any videos
scary.
out there that cover that?
Pardon me?
Are there any videos?
Yeah, there's some videos. I wish I could. I have to look it up and see. There's videos online. Let me see if I can look it up. Um, Black Americans in DR being stopped. Americans in DR being stopped. I'm looking up now. Sorry about that, guys. Let's see. Okay, there's one called Black People Should Stop Traveling to the Dominican Republic, and it talks about how you're being stopped there. It says U.S. Embassy issues travel warning for Black travelers to the DR. I mean, there's a few. I mean, if you can just go on YouTube and just kind of type in some of those, like Black man being stopped in DR, stuff like that, it'll pop up that way.
Yeah, for sure.
There's
I'll
a few.
definitely be sure to do that
There's a
afterwards.
few. Yeah, and it shows the guys are like, they're recording it saying, "Hey, we're American." and the police are like, you have to prove it. Even though you can hear the accent is not a Dominican or Haitian accent, it is definitely American talking, but they're putting them through all these different changes just to prove that they're not Haitian and that they're American. It's the hatred between the two factions are really, really deep.
It's definitely real, that's for sure. But I'm probably thinking that maybe the Dominican police think that they are putting on a convincing fake American accent.
That's probably true. But the strange thing is that, why do they care if you're Haitian? That's racism. I mean, it's one island. Break down that darn wall and let these people go back and forth freely. It shouldn't be a wall there anyway. It's one island. Let these people want to. There's some really good people there that love each other, that love Dominicans who are Haitian, and there's Haitians who love Dominicans. Let them interact with each other. Why does it have to be this wall and you can't come over here and you're going to get treated like a second-class citizen because you're not Dominican? If you were born in the DR, you're going to get kicked out because you're not from Spanish descent. I mean, it's crazy. It's racism over there, man.
Yeah, it's very real, because like on the Telegram app, which I'm also on, I don't know if you've ever heard of Telegram.
Yes, I have.
Okay, yeah. So on Telegram, there actually is this Dominican guy that I do know, and so like he was telling me is that sometimes if there were to be a Haitian man who were to marry a Dominican woman, the Dominican woman's family would have so much drama about it, just as much as there would be a lot of drama about a white woman in America bringing home a Black man.
I've read that. I've heard that.
Exactly, because you remember that scene in the Sidney Poitier movie in
Yes.
Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, where the white daughter brings home her black boyfriend who's a successful doctor.
Yes.
The reaction is just about the same
Yeah, I
when a
noticed that on
Dominican
your,
woman is bringing home a Haitian man.
yeah. I saw that on your channel, and the mother's eyes just like got wide when he walked in.
Hmm. Yep. That's exactly how some Dominican families feel about the Dominican daughter or cousin or
Yeah,
whoever bringing home a Haitian man.
it goes deep. The
It does.
racism, the hatred goes deep, and it's, I guess it goes back to, and the reason why I even like to talk about Dominican, because Dominicans are a mixed culture, and there's Haitians who are mixed too. You just don't see them, but Dominicans are definitely a large mixed culture there, and I never understood the hatred until I started reading their history and how the different wars that happened where there used to be the Haitian used to rule over that land, and then Dominicans ruled over the land, and it's all this bloodshed. So it goes really far back. It really goes far back. But I think at
It
this point
does.
they have
And
to
you
come.
even have like some Dominicans down there who want to try to revive policies of the Rafael Trujillo era,
Hmm. Hmm. I read that too.
because he was like, like basically the dictator of that part of the island from the
Was
1930s up until he was assassinated in the early
Mhm.
60s.
Yeah, and he was a dictator, and you can't be ruled by a dictator. They're going to be racist, prejudice, all that.
Yeah, because during that time that Rafael Trujillo,
Yes.
during that time, was only more welcoming to white immigrants, especially
Mhm.
during like the World War II period,
Mhm.
because he had actually granted like asylum to some of the European Jews during
Mhm.
that era. But
Mhm.
other than that, he was more in favor of, I guess you can say, white presenting immigrants, even though he was
He was a
technically
colorist.
speaking a mulatto.
Yeah, he was a colorist as well.
He was.
Yeah, which is horrible. Horrible. You cannot run a country that way. You're just gonna have, it's gonna be wars, and you can't run a country that way. Everybody has to be included. You have to include everyone.
Exactly.
That's how it works. But it's so sad. But those are our people, our Dominicans, our mixed people. They have a long way to go.
Yeah, I mean,
And
like
what
I've
do you
even
think?
learned a little bit of like the Dominican Spanish, though, but it is very
Que lo
complicated.
que? Que lo
I mean,
que?
like,
Que lo que, loco?
yeah, como like they say que pao, they say saying que
Ya tú
paso, or they
sabes.
say que pao, or how are you? No, it's
Yeah,
not like como estás. They say
it's not
como tú
como,
estás, but
como
they say
está.
it fast. Como tú
Como,
estás.
como está, como está.
Yeah, exactly. It's super fast. I'm like,
Como
wait,
está,
what?
mijo? Yeah, it's different. And like Puerto Rico, and it's so different. Puerto Ricans are so different from Dominicans. Those are another mixed group of people, a large mixed group of people, Puerto Ricans, because they're considered American citizens, and a lot of them speak English. They're different. They have very different culture. Even though we're similar in looking and all that stuff, but it's a different culture. Puerto Ricans, I find, are just, they seem to be easier to get along with. They're more willing to interact with different races of people and different cultures because they're mixed and they accept it. I don't find that Puerto Ricans are racist that way. I really haven't found that. I haven't found that. I think Puerto Ricans tend to be more open and more loving of other people.
That's interesting. That's an interesting
Have you noticed that?
observation. I mean, like, I've had a little bit of my fair share in Washington Heights, New York,
Mm-hmm.
and I just remember just blending right in,
Mm-hmm.
like
Oh
I
yeah,
lived there. No one
they
giving
would
me any
love you.
problems at all.
They would love you, definitely. Because see, the funny thing about being mixed and all that, and maybe this is a colorist thing. I don't know, but it seems like, okay, this is what I've noticed about more in the Puerto Rican culture. They tend to like, if you have blue eyes or green eyes, if you have European features, you seem to be like, that's their ideal of beauty in the Puerto Rican culture. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like the
So
Puerto Ricans love
that's
people
interesting
that
that you
look like
say
you.
that. It's
Yeah.
interesting that you say that because, like, I once went on to Fighter Complex's live stream, and I don't know if no one knows who that is, though. He is a Dominican content creator.
Okay, I didn't
And
know
I
that.
do remember some people in the comments section saying that I guess I would be favored in the DR because I'm
Oh
light
yeah.
skinned and have
Oh,
the
they would
blue
love.
eyes or something like
Oh
that. I'm
wow.
like, oh, okay,
They'll put you
that's
on a pedestal.
interesting
They'll
to
put
know.
you
I
on
didn't
that.
know that.
They'll put you on the stage. Oh wow, look at his eyes. His eyes are beautiful. Because they love things that are European, Eurocentric. Because I guess that comes from slavery. Maybe that's it's been, we've been beaten. It's been beaten into our people. Oh, you have to love looking more Caucasian. The standard of beauty is Caucasian. So the closer you get to it, the more people are gonna go, wow, you are gorgeous. So maybe that's part of it.
That's most likely the reason, because it's even like that even in Mexico though, because they actually have like their terms like moreno, negro,
Yeah, Moreno,
and chino, not güero, but güero.
Chicano.
And
Yeah.
I've been following this Mexican TikToker who was basically telling me is that his grandmother basically started being racist towards him because during the summertime he would play out in the hot sun and he would get darker, and his grandmother, or abuelita as they some of them call it, was
Abuelita.
being racist towards him and basically saying that you're starting to look too black. Get out of the
Mm,
sun so that you can look more like a Weddle.
yeah, white widow.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. That happens a lot. And I think colonialism has done a number on us.
It most
Colonialism has
definitely has.
really made us hate ourselves, hasn't it?
Oh, it definitely has actually had a significant role in modern day self hatred or
Hmm.
modern day colorism that even we take on. But nevertheless,
That's
I
true.
still, want to stress the importance of personal accountability and being responsible for your own problems, your triggers, and everything else. And if anything else, we actually still have to see the problem ourselves and not always call
Mhm.
ourselves victims. Instead, we need to start calling ourselves volunteers of conditioning. So we are allowing ourselves to become these volunteers of colonial conditioning,
That's
when in
true.
fact we now have more power, more clout, and more resources and just more freedom to break that conditioning. But so many of us still choose to stay in that sunken place, if you know what I mean. But
Yes, that's me.
nevertheless, it boils down to the fact that what you don't change, you choose. And a lot of us are choosing to stay in that sunken place. Like I
Mhm.
was in the sunken place. I always like to make fun of my old former self, because you remember in that movie Get Out, and
Yes.
how Chris, the character of Chris, is in that sunken place. Well, that was me until
Mhm.
an angel came down and made sure a bright light went off in my face and woke me up from that sunken place. But I'm glad that I've been woken up permanently and not temporarily.
And see, this is why we need resources online. This is very good reason why, because a lot of people that are mixed are very confused about how they feel about the white culture and the black culture, and how they feel about themselves, and how they want to identify. And we need these resources so people can work it out for themselves. That's what I was trying to say earlier, because I didn't see anything online that has something like that talk about mental health, or how do you identify, what do you need, and then the tools that you would need in order to find out who you are. What are some of the steps you can take to figure yourself out? This is for the next generation. I'm really thinking about them more so than mine, because I feel like they really need the help. They really need these resources. They really need to be
Exactly.
able to click online and go, hey, I got this wonderful site. It talks about, it lets me give my point of view. And then they give some answers. I can interact with people in real time and get my answers. And then vent. And you can vent a little bit and get something off of your chest because you want to know. Because I see a lot of mixed people are being bullied. Even to this day, a lot of mixed people have been bullied incessantly. And we have to figure out why. Why are we being bullied? Is it because people perceive us to be racist? Maybe that could be part of it. Maybe they look at us as being hating them, taking the side of a racist white racist person. Maybe they think one of our parents is very racist, and maybe they feel that they're going to be vilified too. So they're trying to beat us to the punch and bully us first. Maybe that could be it.
So
And
many different factors, like come into play.
yeah.
And like each of our stories are going to vary on an individual level. But what
Yes.
you said there is, like another possibility, that's for sure. Like in my case, I do remember getting like bullied by this more so this darker skinned black kid.
Yeah.
He was doing that to me because he saw me as one of his enemies because I
Mm-hmm.
was lighter skinned and blue eyed. And so he
Exactly.
associated that with his enemies.
Mm-hmm. Because
That
they're talking.
also definitely factored into why I became the way I did.
Oh, see,
Mhm.
those early
It
interactions that were negative, you were being bullied, so you wanted to have some sort of support group and get back at the bully. Yeah. Oh,
that
I
is
see.
another reason.
Wow. That's a good thing to know. That's a good thing to unpack. And you figured it out. Like maybe this is the reason why I did this because
Oh
I was
yeah, it
being,
most
I
definitely
was
was.
bullied and
At
beaten up or
least
whatever.
at least during that time it was. And I mean
Mhm.
there's so many other reasons too, which was the fact that I wasn't exactly taught to fully embrace mixed race identity. Because I
See,
think
that's
that when
the
it
same
comes
thing.
to helping our future generations out is that we need to also start making it known to the parents of mixed race kids is that these are the possibilities that could happen to your child. And so here are just some precepts and guidelines to take into consideration upon raising your mixed race son or daughter. So my mom is a great woman. She's brilliant. I will
Mhm.
always fight for her. I will always defend her.
Mhm.
But she didn't teach me that. She was only
Okay.
teaching me just to be black identifying just because of our
See?
family dynamics. But
Mm-hmm.
that clearly backfired because when I was starting to go into junior high, at home, my mom is saying that I'm black, but I'm like wondering, okay, at school and in the real world, why are they saying that I'm not? And so that caused me to
Exactly.
resent her at the time. I hated her and resented her for that because I was starting to believe that she'd been lying to me for years.
Mm-hmm.
And how are you going to react if somebody's been blatantly lying to your face for a long
Mm-hmm.
time?
Exactly. You feel
That's
like
how I
they've
was feeling.
lied
So
to
I'm just like, you serious?
you.
The real world over here says something different. So why are you telling me this? You liar.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And I've seen this over and over again with a lot of people one dropping their kids. It didn't happen to me, thank God. I was able to identify as mixed. Thank God I had a group of people around me because where I come from, there was all these mixed people, tons of mixed people. So I didn't have that feeling of, oh, I don't belong. I had this huge group growing up. So I was lucky, but I do see a lot of people getting one dropped. Oh, you're black. You're like Holly Berry, for example. Her mother tells her, "You're a black woman. Don't say that you're mixed. You're going to be seen as black. So just say you're black." And we know she's biracial, honey. We know she has a white mother. Why would we see her just one way? I've never
Exactly.
understood that. And
Even
Obama.
her daughter is being called a
And
black girl
then
too,
Obama.
even though her daughter is now
Obviously,
overwhelmingly
even
European.
more. Yes, you can see it even more so in her daughter. Her daughter really has a definite European lean to her. I don't even see the African American thing. I really don't see too much of that in her daughter or her son, actually. So I'm like, no, they're mixed. You can see that they're mixed. And I even see Holly Berry. Even if you didn't tell me Holly Berry was mixed, I know she is. I
Me
just
too,
like looking at her, I'm
because
like, oh, she's a mixed woman.
look at her facial
No,
features.
yes,
It's European facial features that she has.
definitely, definitely European. Very European leaning or mixture. You can see it from the, like I said, a mile away. Hi, Mr. Louisiana wants to get on. Let's see. Let me get him on here.
Go for it. Yeah.
Let's see if you want. Are you ready to come up, Mr. Louisiana? Hold on. I see his hand is up. Let me see. I'm trying to get you on now. Thank you. 1 second. Okay, welcome to the
I
live.
didn't mean to have my hand here. How do
Oh,
I
that's
turn my
okay.
camera off? How do
Did
I
you want to turn it off first?
Hey
Yeah,
man.
how do you turn it off?
Okay, I think there's like a little, like when you enter the studio, it says it has a camera at the top, and it says you can deactivate it. I think.
Oh,
it's
okay. I mean, I
know.
just wasn't ready for it.
That's okay. I mean, I wasn't sure if you were like waving, like, "Hey, I'm here," or if I didn't know. So all we saw was your hand. So
Oh, that's cool.
you're
That's cool.
you still have some safety from all the trolls that might want to take your picture and make fun of you or whatever.
Oh, definitely. Hold on, matter of fact, yeah, this is my hand right here.
Okay, yep, that's your hand.
With my beautiful complexion that I love, I
You
don't
have
need to
that
be
golden
ashamed of
tone.
it. Okay, so
You have that golden tone. It's perfect. Perfection. Golden perfection.
Yep.
look,
We are.
honestly, people lie and say that they are a part of this group, and they really aren't. I don't know why they want to like. It's
Mhm.
always been that way. I'm a Creole from Louisiana, so
Oh, wow.
both
Welcome.
of my parents
Hey,
are
bro,
mixed.
dude.
Bonjour.
Me and you could be cousins.
Bonjour, bonjour. I have Creole background as well.
Okay, okay. That's cool.
So what's on your mind, Mr. Louisiana?
A lot has been on my mind. I see that recently this is starting to pick up. Usually mixed people we've just been thrown and the black category just culturally how America has been, and I just see a lot of shifts. I see shifts between men and women. It's just
Mm-hmm.
it's all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
I tend to be quiet and in the background because I'm if mixed were a politics, I would say I'm to the right,
Okay.
extreme right. I don't mean that I'm perfect, but I feel like I'm in the extreme right. I'm
Mm-hmm.
to the extreme. Yeah.
Because, and why is that?
My experiences, and I just don't. I have a bad relationship with Black America. I have a bad relationship with white America. I
Mm.
don't like how things are going. I don't accept Black culture as my own. I don't like how Black culture is. I don't accept anything about it. Um,
Hmm.
Especially as a mixed man, it's really hard. I feel like mixed women are more accepted in the African
Mm-hmm.
American culture, but
Mm-hmm.
for men, we kind of just have to sit back and worship the big bad Black man, and I'm not about that.
Mm.
I'm not about that at
I
all.
totally understand what you said when you said that the women are accepted because you know why they're accepted because they're the sexual preference
Right.
of dark
That's
skin
what I
light.
was thinking, though, is that people
Yeah,
just want to have sexual access to our women.
that's it. It's sexual access. It has nothing to do with what she thinks and what she knows and where she's from. It's just what she looks like. It's superficial. It's
Definitely.
been that way forever, and I blame the American culture for that because all these movies talking about the Creole woman being like the concubine. You know, she's always made out to be the I don't want to say the word, but you know, the concubine. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
She's always the she's giving how do you say it? Help me out, guys. She's giving some sort of
She's basically seen as a sex object.
yeah, she's a subject sex object.
Let's just put it bluntly. She's
Yeah,
perceived as being a sexual fetish. To
exactly.
sexual object fetish. But that's
Exactly.
just not what us men are going to be viewed as in most cases. Hey, Maggie.
How you guys doing? Hello. Thank you for letting me on the
Hi,
panel. I appreciate
Magic.
you. I loved your channel. I've been watching your channel for a long time.
Oh, thank you. I love your channel as well.
Appreciate
I
it.
don't
Thank
get
you.
on here as much.
I know. It's so happy to see you. But I want to jump on here because what's the other guys? What's your name? The one from Louisiana? I just want to know your name.
Yeah.
What's your name?
Yeah. Mr. Louisiana, you could call me.
Mr.
Mr.
Louis.
Louisiana.
Yes.
Yeah, but yeah, I definitely was kind of moved by what you said because I hear that a lot. Like I hate both sides of my cultures. Like I hear that. That's why I want to do the stream. I'm talking about how can we fit in with both sides? How can we like learn to love both sides? Like, cause I'm all about like healing and trying to like
I'm
see
sorry,
like.
but I don't think Black people can be saved at this point. For one thing, I think
No, no, no,
us.
no, no. It's not
Go
about
ahead.
saving them. I've been there. Like I used to be super pro. Like me and George get along because we're like the complete opposite spectrums. Like he was
Light
like
skin
super
saviors,
pro,
right?
and then I
Light
was
Oh no,
skin
not.
yeah,
I mean, she was
savior.
very black identifying, not very
yeah, I was
black
very
identifying at the
super pro
time.
black and all about yeah, I've been there. I totally been there. And obviously I came to the conclusion that, it's all about families, like your family structure. Like that's why the black community look like the way it does, because there's a lack of family structure. So you can't make people want to have a
Mm.
family. Like that's not your let's say you could only be in control of your own individual actions, right? But like I'm saying, I do want us to heal from like hating both sides, because you know what, I came to the conclusion, like, because this is the hard thing about being mixed, because especially black and white, right? Because the black people, the black side, they have such a negative outlook on the white side, of course, because there's a negative history there, right? And then on the white side, there's such a negative outlook on the black side because they look down on them, they have a negative, and we can internalize that, right? We could internalize both those negative outlooks and just see the negative in both of sides, because each side only see the negative of the other side, right? So it's like we could internalize that and only see the negatives within and hate both sides of ourselves. That's probably the worst case scenario for us. So I do want
Exactly. It is the worst case, definitely.
Mhm.
We have
And
to
it's
have
common.
resources
You're not
to
the
love
only one who
yourself.
feels like that, Louisiana. Like, I've heard that story a lot. Like, a lot of us do hate both sides of ourselves, and it's something we do definitely got to address and heal from. It's you're not the only one though. So
And that's why we need these resources and these chats and these lives so we can talk it out, because this is getting, it's detrimental, because if you don't love yourself, then what's the point?
I mean, don't get me wrong. I love myself, but when I feel like I love myself, I feel like I stand alone. Like, black people hate me for loving myself because I'm different from them, and white people hate me for, like, I love myself. Like, don't get me wrong. I love everything about me, my features, my skin color, my hair. I love myself. But when I'm around blacks, I feel like I gotta downplay. When I'm all around whites, I gotta downplay it around everybody.
Don't downplay.
When I see people who look like me,
be
I
yourself.
think positive thoughts. But I hate when we act like black people, like ghetto and trashy. Like, why would we have to act like that? Like,
you don't have to. You don't have to.
You
don't have
to
to
do
praise
that,
ourselves. We
though.
don't have to call each
It's-
other the N-word.
Yeah, like it's
aspect.
actually psychologically healthier
always
though
talk
to
about, yeah.
be true to yourself,
Yeah.
love yourself, and just like
Mhm.
uplift your own before you branch out into other collectives. But
Great
like
point.
when it kind of comes to them though, is that like this world that we live in, bro, it's not going to tiptoe around our problems. So
That is so true.
whatever
Definitely
kind of
not.
biases we're having those, so we just actually have to learn how to employ, like I said, like the better, healthier coping mechanism. So just to be able to withstand maybe some toxic aspects of white community and the black community, and even within our own community too.
I live in a white neighborhood, actually. I'm the only mixed person in my building. Well, I'm a Creole guy. I'm here. For me, I can tolerate whites better because I can tolerate the passive aggressiveness, the sly racism. They're not very confrontational. Like, I'm in a pretty much well-off neighborhood.
Mhm.
The problems that I get, I can tolerate whites. This is hard to say. I can tolerate them more than I can
Wow.
living around blacks, because I don't
Well,
have to worry about my
honestly, I
safety.
kind of relate a little bit
Oh, I
because I used
see.
to live in Atlanta. It was all fully black area. And when you said something about, mixed women are more accepted, they're accepted with men, but they're not more accepted with the women. It's just like the
Mhm.
opposite.
Exactly. Oh,
Just the
wow.
opposite with
In
the
Atlanta?
guys are
Wow.
accepted with the women probably more than the men. The men are not because the men are gonna be like, oh, y'all some light. They were the one creating all these narratives about light skin, this and that, all these horrible negatives. I remember you speaking about that. I remember you did a video about that. It's like trying to get rid of that narrative, like the light
Who,
skin.
me?
Mixed intellect. I remember
Oh,
you did a video a long time ago about that too. That's been a subject of conversation, a lot. But it is, yeah.
It's interesting how each, depending on what state you're from, you get treated either good or bad, depending on what state you're in. Have you
Right.
noticed that? Yeah.
Because I was
It's
in
like,
the South,
yeah.
I was in the South. I was in Atlanta.
Hmm.
And yeah, I think that they had a negative outlook on mixed men too. It was like, oh, you light skins. I don't
That's
like
what I
light.
heard.
It was definitely
It
like that, but
has an
definitely
issue
light
with
skinned
that.
women were like lusted after and
Hmm.
all that. Yeah, it was like a dynamic like that. And
Isn't it strange though? It's like,
strange.
why
I don't
can't you accept both people? Why do you have to only
exactly.
like one? Is
It
it
is
just
very
for
strange.
sexual purposes?
But yeah, but I remember I got bullied. Like it was like because I moved there when I was like 16. And it
Okay.
was like a workplace bullying thing. Like I
Wow.
would get I worked with all black women, and it's like they
Hmm.
just bullied me all of a sudden. Like I didn't know because I did not know about colorism. I didn't know about anything because I
Okay.
wasn't raised like that. I was raised in like
Right.
a white area. My mom didn't teach me colorism. She never taught me that this person. She
Hmm.
never taught me nothing like that.
they
And I'm
Exactly.
can
glad.
complain.
What you saying?
No, I was gonna say they can complain about all this colorism BS or whatever, but honestly, even full blacks, the darkest, they are some of the most colorist people
It's
themselves.
hypocritical. It's a lot of hypocritical.
Exactly.
It's a lot of very much. I agree. I
And
totally
then I'm
agree.
supposed to sit here and be the better person all the time. Like, like honestly, I feel like when they're talking about that stuff, I don't
Yeah.
say anything because I just feel like you kind of feel like the white person, like you can't really say how you really feel, right?
Exactly.
Or you'll be racist. You're gonna be racist. But yeah, this
Yeah,
is why
it's
I
usually
wanna,
like they'll be more, like you said, passive aggressive about it.
And
They'll
they
be
can
very
say
silent
anything
about
they
it.
want. They can even say bad things about themselves, but you can't. You can't. You got to be the light,
Exactly.
the right one, right?
You have to be the bridge.
be really like I was thinking about this because I'm doing a live stream about this. But it's like there's all types of people within every racial group, like the white side and the black side. It's like you have to be around people who respect you, period. Whether like if you're around black people, be around some black people who are going to be respectful towards you, or don't be around
Exactly.
at all. Be around some white people who are going to be respectful towards you, and that the fact that you're black,
Good
half black.
point.
And
Mhm.
then yeah, and if you're gonna be around some it's hard. This is what I've noticed when I was all around all black, it's more socially acceptable to be racist and hateful towards white people because of the history, right? It is hard, but you need to be around people who are gonna be respectful of the fact that you're half white and not sit here trying to tear you down
Mhm.
about it, or try to so it's about finding people who are respectful towards you, period, and being around people like that. Or else you can become hateful and resentful towards people because it's like, all these folks they disrespect me. This is my experience with these people, but it's just about trying to find people who are
And
respectful.
you have to educate people. You don't be silent. You have to say, "Hey, I didn't agree with that, and this is why." You have to educate people because
Yeah,
if
and
you
don't let
don't
people
say
say, "Oh,
anything,
you're
you're
just
co-signing
sensitive."
it if you don't say anything.
Yeah, and if they really do care about you, they really are friends, and they're not gonna just try to shut you down and be like, "You're just sensitive. You're just this and
Mhm.
that." They're actually gonna, give a damn about how you feeling. But it's rare to find like real good people like that. But you just
That's
gotta be
true.
real careful about the type of people you go around. So you don't so they don't cause trauma towards you. So you become hateful and resentful towards. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not talking. I really want to. I'm just happy that I really appreciate you. You and George are both. Y'all are very transparent. Like I really about the good, the bad, and the ugly. Like I just like that. We need that transparency and have that
We
space.
have to have it because we have to talk about the issues so we can resolve them. And
Exactly.
Mr. Louisiana, I had a quick question for you. Do you feel like you have resources as a mixed person of a community that you can go to that's mixed?
Um, I feel here I have the Creole community, but it's been saturated by a lot of different other kinds of people.
Say
We
it
feel
like
like
you
other
mean
mixed
it. What do you
people.
mean? What do you mean by
Yeah,
other
what do
people?
you mean? Other mixed people, black
You can
people,
say
white
what you have
people.
to say.
Like black people, they've ghettoized Creole culture. Like I don't
Oh,
know, I just don't like it.
mhm,
I
mhm.
get it, though, man. I
Not
mean,
what it
like
used to be.
I'll tell you this, like Mr. Louisiana, I do have like plenty of cousins who live over there in Monroe, and
Right.
we already know what Monroe is like.
Mm-hmm.
It is not the best place up there in the northern part of Louisiana. But I mean, I'm not really that much in touch with them. It's just because I just don't really connect that well to them, especially with the things that they're into.
Right.
I have though in Monroe and in Fidelia, Shreveport, and Lafayette.
You know what I realized though? Like I've been in these spaces a while. There's gonna be different classes of people. Like you said, that the diversity thing. There's gonna be like even in white society, there's the lower class people, and then there's gonna be people who want have a different mindset. Like you just gotta be around people who share your mindset. You know what I'm saying? So, but that's what we're trying to establish. Because in the beginning, like in these spaces, I felt like it was kind of real hood, real ghetto, and I was like, I don't really vibe with that much. Like I love black culture. I love black people, but it's like I don't really like a lot of aspects of black culture. I don't really agree with a lot of it, like the fighting and the drama and the nonstop.
The
I
N
was like,
word.
we don't need that. We don't need that,
Exactly. I
right?
agree. I agree with
Exactly
Matt.
though, and I think that's like a magic, like me and you agreed on a previous stream in regards to how we need to teach our children more of the positive and uplifting aspects
Mhm.
of our black sides, such as great people
Absolutely.
like Vivian Thomas, because Vivian Thomas was
Mhm.
actually a black pioneer in heart surgery during the
Love it.
1940s. And he maneuvered all around the racial disenfranchisements during that period.
Mhm.
And he is a great man and a hero in the field of surgery.
Yeah, that's why I'm happy I did have like that pro
Mhm.
black phase because it did make me so proud to be because I grew up in a white area, right? And it's like they don't really, it was I
You had
never
to
felt
find out about yourself.
I didn't really know too much about black culture, black history, and then
Mhm.
I went through like this super pro black phase, and it did make me feel really proud to be black. But I did have to heal because there was a lot of anti-white narrative that I internalized. I'm like,
See,
oh,
we were just
so I
talking
kind
about
of
that
feel like get
earlier.
over that. But I do love my white side now too. So it's like I really love who I am. Those are where I come from. But I am my own person, right? I am my own.
You see,
culture.
and there's a process to getting there, and the process is arduous, and it shouldn't be
Thank you.
arduous.
And I want
It
to
should
talk
just
about
be
it
just
more.
okay,
Because
I'm
that's
half
what
black, I'm
you
half white. Here's our culture. This is who we are. It shouldn't
do.
be this long battle to love yourself. It
Exactly.
shouldn't be
Like
that.
that's why we got to speak out more because I've gone through this process of like, you know, trying to find this, trying to find my identity, trying to like
See,
it's I'm 28 now,
it
but I'm
takes a while.
29. It takes a while, but it can
It
speed it
takes a,
up. We could just have somebody talking about it and sharing their experiences.
Mhm.
Like you said, I love what you said about the next generation. Like that's me too. Like, I have my kids and I'm
Yeah,
just worried about the
we
next
need to
generation.
have
They don't
something
have
for
to
them.
freaking yeah, they don't have to be
We
damn
need a
near 30.
legacy. We need a legacy for them, so
Exactly.
they're not wandering around like we did. Like, what are we? We don't count in
Exactly.
America. What's going on? We need to have that. That's why
I
I'm doing it.
Yeah, exactly. And I just love that. I'm totally in alignment with that. And that's what I care about the most. Like all this petty stuff that's like, oh, he said, she said,
Mhm.
this person, that shit don't matter.
The YouTube bugs.
That
Ah!
shit don't
Yeah,
matter. It's about like, is this gonna matter? That's what I think about too. I'm like, oh, somebody said something about me or this. I'm like, will this matter in 2 weeks? Like, will I
it
even
doesn't
care?
matter.
It don't matter. In
You
like
don't
two
know these
days.
people. You probably will never meet them ever. Or they
Never.
made it. They made it such that you don't want to meet them. So
Exactly. So I'm like,
Exactly, though. It goes back to what we were addressing in regards to the shenanigans within these sectors. We're probably never going to meet, so
yeah,
I'm never going to take anyone seriously. I'm not going to meet. And like I said, if you're obviously projecting out your demons, then I'm not going to take you seriously either.
And see, that's the unfortunate thing because my whole idea was that if we were going to have an online community, there could also be an offline community that we can
that.
actually do meet people and do things and create something offline as well, friendships, networking, whatever it may be. But it's something positive. But
Yes.
they vilify themselves. They've created this whole "I hate you" culture. I hate you culture. I don't know what that is.
We don't do that.
I'm very forgiving. I'll forgive them. Hopefully, in the future, we can get along. But right now, I don't know. I have to
I've been
leave
trying
it
to speak up about it.
open.
I left the space too. I always speak about that. Like I found the space, and I loved it. I was like, wow, mixed community. But then all the negative energy, I'm not going to let anything online affect my mental health. You know
There
what
you
I'm
go.
saying? If it's time affecting your mental health, it's time to walk away. It's time.
Exactly.
So
It's
that's what
true.
happened. Yeah, and then I've been trying to speak out about it, and nobody cares. They care more about attention than they do like the well-being of because it affects the viewers. It does. This is like it's like I was reading a book. It's like thought poison, like you got to be very careful about what type of content you listen to because it could affect your mental and affect your mind. And I
It's
keep trying to
true.
speak about that because I'm like, I don't because we got such a tiny space. I don't want it to be poison and have people be thought, you know what I'm saying, like taking negative content into their mind and it's putting them negative. And I've been trying to speak out about my last live stream was about like, the drama addiction and
Definitely. I saw that. Yeah.
Really,
yeah, and I've been trying to speak out about it.
And it's
Just trying
true.
to
You have to have that time to unpack it and put it in its place. I think Giorgio did something on his channel. I saw I think you were walking in the mountains or something, I think with your dog, and you were talking about this is how you relax or something like that. I thought that was a great way to unwind from it all.
Oh,
To
you're
just
talking about the one on my Instagram page?
It might have been IG or it might have been on your YouTube. I saw something, maybe one or the other, but I remember, yeah, you were just walking around outside enjoying the weather. I'm like, there you go. That's how you can let all that negative energy go.
Exactly, though. Yeah, there's always that edifying force that comes along with nature, let alone is that you're walking around in your empty patch of desert and there's just so isolated, no one else around, and you can clearly clear your thoughts, clear your mind of all kinds of online shenanigans or just bad energy that comes with a lot of the sectors.
It's true.
It just takes your mind off of a lot of stuff.
It's a good way to just unwind it and unpack it and throw it away, I guess. You kind of just eliminate it. I love that. That's a good way to do it, guys. If you ever want to get the stress out of your life, go out into nature, go to the park. It does help.
And
It does.
speaking about that, that's why I'm about to jump off here in a little bit,
Okay.
though, so I can embark upon a quick walk with my dog before I can now head over to Abby NYC's live stream in
Well,
about a
thank
half
you
hour.
for stopping
I'll be
by, George. Thank you for
All right, man.
your
Likewise.
comments.
See you,
Really
George.
loved it.
Stream. I'll be
Yeah, your
inviting you
feedback
to
was
our stream.
wonderful. Thank you for your feedback. It was great. Absolutely great. I appreciate that because he was very transparent about his past and where he is now. And I think
I
it's
respect
great.
people who are like that. I respect people who could own up to their past, what they did wrong, and they put in the work to change, be self accountable. I respect people like that because ain't nobody perfect, ain't nobody, nobody on this earth has been totally perfect, done everything right. So I just respect people who like really take
Yeah, I
accountability.
mean, and it's good because he gave those resources of like the different like podcasts that he goes to that talk about mixed generation and what we go through. I think it's really good to have people just say it like it is. tell the truth.
Exactly. That's why I appreciate you too, Louisiana, because you're just speaking your truth. Like you're just letting your truth out, and nobody's here to judge you. Nobody's gonna sit here and like invalidate your experience or sit here and be
Right.
like you're wrong or try to moralize stuff. But it's like let's work through this. Let's talk about it and work through it. And
Right.
right. That's why I'm like I do appreciate people like that who are just gonna be honest and because it's hard, because I've had my story twisted up and turned against me as well. But it's like it don't matter. At the end of the day, if y'all want to.
Yeah,
Yeah, some people want to twist what you're saying and use it against you,
that's true.
but it don't matter to me. I just know that there's always gonna be if it's helping somebody, that's all that matters. If somebody want to use it against me, and it don't bother me. Y'all could do whatever. Like you said, having a thick skin. Me and Georgia was just talking about that in my Discord the other like last night. We were talking about you gotta have a thick skin because
Yeah, because there's some trolls under the bridge. And they're good at it too. They're good at it. They've been doing it for years. They know what to say, how to say it, when to say it.
yeah,
They're
and I just
good
be
at it.
unbothered. I just be like, you know what? I'm gonna pay y'all dust and just be unbothered.
Exactly. You have to ignore it.
You gotta ignore it.
Like a mosquito, you just swat it.
Yeah, people be looking for a fight. They want that. They like that. It's like an adrenaline rush for some people.
It's
Like
it's an addiction.
Yeah, and it's like if
Yep.
you're giving them what they want, you're giving into
Breaking
it. Like,
somebody down that they've always hated. Oh my God, I got another one. Let me break down another biracial,
yeah,
I know we have issues that we have to work on. One of the issues that I had about being
Mhm.
mixed and going out into the world is when people are asking you, "What are you?" and dealing with those kind of people who are rude and they don't know how to come up and say, "Hello, my name is blah blah blah," and try to have a conversation before they ask those questions. Have you had that experience where people just say, "What are you?"
What are you? Yeah, it's like I don't know. I don't like when people. It's like people trying to define you before they even meet you. It's like they're trying to
Mhm.
define you. Like if you're black, they'll think of you this way. If you're something
Mhm.
else, they'll think of you this way. So yeah, it's kind of I don't know what you be doing. You be matching the energy or what you be doing?
What I learned to do is just to switch it back around and say, "Well, what are you?" And
Mm,
they usually don't say anything. They walk away,
mm.
or they'll just say black or something like that, But they'll say it in such an angry way. I'm like, okay. And then it's all about them at that point. They just want to talk about themselves. But I just reverse it back. So, well, no, what are you? And see how they react.
I like that. I'm gonna use
Mhm.
that.
Because really what I'm trying to say is I really don't want to have this conversation. I'm not going to tell you anything about myself.
You're coming to me all rude and negative. Like,
Mm.
no.
And Mr. Louisiana, do you have that experience where people come up to you, ask you, what are you?
Definitely. And I'm like, what's the purpose of this for? That's one of the first things you asked me.
Mhm.
And I'm like you're gonna form these judgments about me without, what do I like?
Mhm.
Nothing about my hobbies. Forget me. You're just going
Exactly.
about a superficial observation. So you're trying to figure out if I'm Hispanic or maybe some kind of Arab or whatever. So you can formulate. But that shouldn't. What if I don't want those confines? What if I want to be my own person, just like any white person or whatever can be their own person? That's what I like about quote unquote white culture. They get to be their own individual person, and white people don't like to be put into boxes. And so, oh, you're white, so you're this and that. How dare you? And they'll let you know.
I don't like that.
And I'm the same way, and we should be the same way. We can be our own individual persons. Some of us might like fish. Some of us might like going skiing. Some of us might like video games, sports, whatever we like. But we can be our own person too.
I do like that. Yeah, I like that. We can't let other people define who we are. Like they're trying to tell us who we are and define who we are. So you must be. No, I define myself. I know who I am. I define what I am. I do like that about. Yeah, I totally get what you're saying. I do like that. I think we should take that on. That is a positive aspect of like white culture. That it is good. They get to be whatever the fuck they want to be, right? And not let.
Yeah, and it's not even there. It's only because they are the majority here or whatever. But I don't think that's. I've always. I think the thing about that kills me is like I gave that doubt to other mixed people. I said, hey, black people are not doing it, so I gave it to other it's like I automatically do. I judge mixed people, light skin, whatever, mulattoes. I judge you. I look at you like individuals, like you are your own person. You have this uniqueness about you, and I just met you and I want to know the things about you. I really want to get to know you, not I'm not judging you based on confines of a box. I'm giving you that freedom that I give to even to a white person. You get the same freedom. The problem is I'm seeing a lot of mixed people get trapped into that black box, the black stereotypes. They got to act this way or do that way. And that's
right.
the kind of.
Exactly. I've seen that too, because it's the one drop rule. American racism still lives on. If you have one drop of black blood, you're black. It's like, okay, so now I don't have a white mother or I don't have a white father. They're gone. Right. So it's this erasure. It's the erasure for me. I just can't, I'm not going to accept it, because we've gone so long without saying anything, because we didn't want to rock the boat. We didn't want to make either sides angry, and so then we didn't say anything. So that's why we don't have the communities that we really do need as resources. Right. We should be able to list 40 to 50 websites saying this is a good one, this is a good one, this is one.
Exactly.
We don't have it. I haven't seen it. So that's why we have to keep. That's why we have to do these channels and do these lives, because again, the next generation is not going to have anything if we don't put anything out there. If we don't construct anything that's substantial, just resources, information, mental health, wellness.
Honestly, I'm not trying to be a supremacist, but most of the black leaders, everything within African American culture were always mulattoes. Even
we know that in the civil rights.
Frederick Douglass. Rosa
Obama.
Parks. Come on, she counts.
Kamala Harris.
It goes down the line. The people who've fought the hardest.
Yes, definitely. We have contributed, and then it's been changed. It's been blackwashed, as they say. It's been blackwashed into Black history. Then we get erased. So I think what it is that the white racists want to eliminate us. That's where it's really coming.
They had anti-miscegenation laws in place for how many years? 300.
Forever.
In other countries, they never had anti-miscegenation laws like they have in America. Like they went hard against like us existing like in America. It's been
a threat to them. Our confidence is a threat to them.
That's it.
When you're good at something,
want us to exist. And
like me.
They did not want us to exist. And
no, but when you're good at something, like me, like I'm really good with like fish tanks, aquariums, marine biology. When you're good at something, it threatens them. They're threatened by it. They're threatened by your confidence.
That's
you love yourself. They are threatened by that. That is one thing
you have
always noticed in my life. They are threatened. And look. You could be the most quadroon. Like the minute like they know that there's some black, they got like this. It's like a complex they have.
Yes.
So white, remember, we are raised in a country, all of us, from the time we're little, white is superior. It's the best thing to be. Once you had a little 1%, 2%, whatever's noticeable, all of a sudden they have like this complex that they have a self-sustaining.
That you're better than me? Yeah, you're better than me, and you're not 100% white.
No way.
Like you said, it is a threat. It definitely is a threat, and that's why they're trying to erase us, because we have what they really want. We have what they want, and they don't have it. We have what they want. So therefore, they're threatened by it. And then we can surpass them. That's the threat. We can surpass them and create a whole different type of government, a whole different type of society with
more progressive society.
More progressive, more advanced. Exactly. And that's why they're trying to erase us. That's the issue.
Or they want to throw us into the black trauma. I know self-hatred. I'm sorry, I can't teach black. I don't know how to teach unambiguous black people how to love. themselves. I'm not that like. I mean,
Mhm.
I definitely haven't made them feel bad about themselves. You know what I mean? But even with us, they are racist to us. They'll try like you could be mixed. They'll
Exactly.
point something out about you that's black to try to make you feel
Yeah,
bad
make you
about
feel
it,
bad about yourself. Yeah.
right? And they
Gaslighting. Gaslighting.
so
That's
it's
that's
really
one of the tactics. That's one of the colonialized tactics. Use
Yep.
these black people to hate the mixed people to keep them down.
Yep.
Make them feel inferior, make them feel like they're the tragic mulatto and that they don't
Yep.
fit in, so they don't have any power.
Mhm.
You
Yep.
and
see,
that's
you
Yep.
see
And
it
it
exactly.
works.
on a psychological
It's
level.
worked for a long time.
Mhm.
We're just not waking up like right now. Like, hey, we want to be our own
Yeah,
people. We
we're
want to have our
waking
own
up. People are
hair.
waking up slowly but surely, and they're
Mhm.
figuring it out. Now that we have all these platforms, it's like we have a ton of platforms. Why don't we see more biracial mixed content that's positive? I think we need more of that.
Thank you.
We
Definitely.
need
I
more of
agree.
that because
We
I've
need to
seen
balance
stuff.
it out.
We need a
Thank you.
balance. And I
Yeah.
agree with you, Magic. And what I've seen the most on, like, say, TikTok is
Mhm.
negative. It's always some
Negative.
negative.
Yeah.
I don't want to be
Thank
mixed. I'm
you.
not mixed. I'm black. Don't say I'm not
Thank
white. I'm not white.
you.
I'm black. I'm black. I'm black. I don't have any. I don't want to acknowledge the white side of my
Have you seen
culture.
the yeah and black shirts? I've been seeing a lot. What the like the people who are like the lightest, like barely any black. They got like the I'm black shirt. I've seen that a lot on
Yeah,
TikTok.
I've seen that.
Have you seen that?
I have a video with a lady who's white passing, and she goes, "Yeah, I'm
It's like
black."
yeah,
You know,
the shirt.
but you're
people are
totally
problematic.
white
Those
passing. Like,
people
you look like a white woman, no matter what you say.
Mhm.
You're totally
the
white passing.
I know it's
Right.
streaming like that. Those people are problematic because to them, a lot of the times they have this insecurity where, oh, for me to prove I'm black, I gotta act stereotypical. I gotta do stereotypical things. I gotta say the
Exactly.
N word. I gotta. It's like you're not.
It's
If you
cringy.
are, you know what you are. You don't have to prove it. There is no
Thank
stereotype.
you.
There is no way to say, oh, I'm this and that. You don't have to act a certain way. Like
Thank
it's
you.
creating a chaos again. You know.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's
When biracial
counterproductive.
people, I agree. When we're just comfortable in our skin and we just love ourselves, I think we're like the super best. It holds us back. When you're sitting here trying to play into stereotypes and try to overcompensate for this and try to, I've been there. Like I've totally been there, because
Yeah.
like you said about like the boxes. So I was in an all black area and they tried to put me in a white box. Like, oh, you can't cook. You don't season your food. You must not be able to do this and this. And I was like, no,
That's
I
so
tried to
petty.
I felt like I had to like overcompensate. Like,
That's
I was
racist
like,
and petty at the same
yeah,
time.
it was like too much. It
You
was
can't
like,
season your food. Like, where
yeah.
do they come up with this stuff?
And it was like, no, like I don't want to be put in that white box either.
Oh
I
my
don't want that,
God.
like, so
Exactly.
and so
We
but
want
yeah.
to be recognized as our own race. That's all it is. We are a hybrid race. We're not black. We're not white. We are a hybrid. So we are different than both sides. We're different.
We gotta
We have
speak
some
up against
characteristics.
both sides. Be like, look, on the black side, y'all are not gonna try to put me in a white box. Okay, y'all are not gonna do that because I'm not white. I am a mulatto. I am a Creole, like you guys said. You guys are Creole. That's who I am. I'm not white. And y'all are gonna talk to the white people too, because they try to oh well, you're they know though. White people are not stupid because I see
They
this.
know.
I see.
Oh, they
I
know.
see-
Oh, they know. Oh,
They
they
know.
know.
They
They
know
like,
well.
they're smart
People
though.
try to act like white
They
people are
slick,
stupid, like
but
they can't tell the
they're more
difference.
strategic. But they're more strategic. They're smart. They
No,
know. They know.
let you be a mixed person that's half white. Let you be talking shit about white people. They be like, I know you half white, so you can't be talking. I know they do that. They do that. They know
They do.
when somebody's mixed with white. They
They know. They can see it.
It's
They
like,
know.
oh, they all think we're black. We're all like, come on, like that's old. Like it's
Come
pretty
on. They
obvious.
act like they don't know, but they know.
They
They're
act like
smart
they don't
enough
know.
to.
No, but if I'm sitting here
They
talking
play
shit
the
about white
game.
people, bring it
Yeah.
up that I'm half white. They will bring it up. They will because they can see it. So.
They know.
Oh, they'll call you
They're
light
men.
skinned. They're not stupid. Yeah.
I've seen it. I'm like, oh, y'all know. I've seen it happen. I've seen these light skinned people going in on white people, and they're just like, we know you got some white in you, honey. So come on, you need.
They know.
They know.
But just
And
like
that
Mr.
will be-
Louisiana said, they're just more strategic about it. They're more
I be
passive
checking white
aggressive.
people too. I be checking
Mhm.
white people that be trying to put me in, like, I don't care because that's like, because the whole like I see what you're saying, but like, with your
Mhm.
politics. Like it is like politically correct, like because we don't have our own. Like it's not. That's my whole channel is about spreading awareness. Like we are our own people. Okay,
Mhm.
most people are just aware of white and black, and it's like if there's nothing there, then. But we gotta. I be checking white people though. I be like, look, I'm not black. I am biracial. I'm mixed. That's what they understand. I need to go further and be like, I'm mulatto. I'm whatever. I don't. But I do want to get there with them. But
I had a
I be
situation. I had a situation with this very similar, where this white lady called a black woman a girl. She goes, "Well, that girl said this. That girl said." I said, "Ma'am, she's not a girl. She's a woman." And because she
okay.
thought, "Oh, you're white, aren't you? This is how we talk." I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
"No, honey." I said, "No, I'm mixed, and she's a woman.
Please.
She's not a
Thank
girl.
you.
She's a
Thank
40
you.
something year old woman." And so I had to check her. I check white people like this all day long because they say
Yeah.
stuff like that. Or they'll call a man a boy, a grown man a boy, a black man. "Oh, that boy." No, that's a man. He's not a
That's a
boy.
man. Thank
He's a
you.
man. I have to
Man.
check them. So they do stuff like that. White people do that
Oh
a lot.
yeah. Yeah.
If they think that you're white or white enough to accept it, white passing or whatever they call it, or they think you're Hispanic, they'll say stuff about black people like that all day long. And you have to check. And I do check them. I do say, no, that's not right.
Good because yeah, that's good. I do. We gotta stop playing about our identity though. You know what I'm saying? I do respect that about black people. They don't be playing about when it comes to a certain thing. They don't play. That's how they got a lot of collective power. Black people are very powerful collectively. And I got in an argument with somebody before on another live stream because I was like, black people are powerful. Like black people have power,
Yeah,
and
they
they're like,
have their
no, we
power.
don't.
Mhm.
With the whole victim
Oh,
mindset thing, thinking like we don't
not
have any
powerful.
power. They abuse it. Like they abuse their power and they don't want to claim their power because they want to hold on to the victim card and all
Look,
that. So I call that shit out. And I'm like, no, I know black people are powerful. Y'all could go shut some shit down and y'all got a lot
They
of
do.
collective because they got big numbers. They got big
Look
numbers.
what happened. Look
They
what happened with all the BLM riots. I mean, they literally shut down the whole downtown of LA, and
yeah, we can't do that. Can we come together
you know,
and shut down the whole city? No, we can't do
they've shut
that.
down stuff like that in different areas.
They can
So yeah, they have
like
power.
if
It
yeah,
might
if you say
right there.
black people over, your career's over with. You know what I'm saying? But we don't have that type of like compared to us as a group, we don't have that collective power, and we don't have like if somebody talks shit about a biracial person, no, we're not gonna come together and collectively,
We default to being quiet. We'll default to being quiet. We
we
won't
just
say.
gotta be quiet. We gotta stop playing about stuff. We gotta
That's
actually
what
like get
I've
serious.
noticed that.
Like
Like we won't
we're
say
our own
anything. We
people.
don't want the conflict. We don't want the smoke because we don't have the numbers. We're not connected enough to have the. Even though we have there's millions of us in around here, but we've been told to be quiet because we're the preference. We're the pretty ones. So if you're pretty and
We got light
privileged,
skin
you're not
privilege.
supposed to have an
So
opinion.
we can
You're not supposed to stand up
people
for
can talk
anything.
shit about us as much as they want because we're privileged. We're the privilege. But I'm
Mhm.
like, you know what? We do have a certain degree of like my privilege. Our privilege is that we can adapt in different situations. I think that's a great thing. Like that's an advantage we have. You know what I'm saying? And I'm
Mhm.
proud of
Yeah.
that. I'm like,
We
I
can
love that about.
vacillate.
Yeah, we
We
got
can
good things
vacillate
about
to
because
other.
it's crazy because they're like, oh, there's like they want to act like being biracial is like all negative and horrible and terrible.
No, it's not. We have a rich
There's
culture. Our cultures are so rich and varied. We've got all these different mixed people from different parts of the world. I think it's wonderful. I mean, look at the cultures
We
from
have advantages.
Hispanic to European to Caribbean, American. We've got all these different cultures, and that's what I think is so wonderful about us as being mixed because we can do because we have our hand in everything. We're connected to everyone. We are like the bridge between humanity. And if we come together, I can only think of the great things we can do to collectively, especially for our next generation. They're gonna be like, "Wow, look at all what we did! Look at all the stuff we can do."
I know.
You
That's what I
know,
want.
I want them to feel that way. I would love for them to have that and feel that way.
Exactly. We're gonna make that happen.
It shouldn't be that they're swimming around looking for stuff and they can't find anything.
Exactly. That's a damn shame, man.
Oh, it's horrible. And I think I made an analogy. It's like having a plant. You have a plant, you don't water the plant's going to wither away and die. So there's not going to be anything there. And that's what we've done. We didn't water our plants. We just let it wither and die. And now we're complaining about it.
Yeah, that's why I think of these spaces. I think we have to nurture it correctly, like these mixed online spaces. If we're sitting here freaking blow torching it, it's gonna die. So it's not gonna grow and flourish and grow like our little spaces online. Like we have to like nurture it and actually give it like positive energy and put love into it and put positive things out there. Like if we just keep feeding it like acid water, just toxicity all day, it's gonna wither away. That's why, and we don't need that. Like we're thinking about the next generation. We really want these spaces to flourish so we could share more, connect more, share more resources, and help each other out. These spaces have helped me tremendously. I used to be like so lonely and horrible. Like I used to feel so low because I didn't know anybody. I was like, I felt just so lonely. Like I know my husband's biracial, but I didn't feel like I had like a sense of like community, like a
Yeah,
like
you didn't have
so
this
needed.
support system
Exactly. So
where you can go and get answers and contribute and give answers. Yeah, and that's what we need. I mean, I think that's from all the videos that I've listened to.
Exactly.
All the videos I've listened to, all the channels, everybody is saying really the same thing. We need a support system. We need to be supporting each other. We need places to go that is safe spaces. That's all I've been hearing. So I think we're getting there slowly but surely. And I think it really starts from where you are in your own community. Like here, I'm in New York. And so I know a lot of people in New York. And I get together with certain people and we go out and just have a good time. But it's really all mixed people. We're all mixed. You know what I mean? And I just love that feeling of community because we didn't have that before.
I wish I had this. I've never experienced that in my life.
You have to have that in your own community. You have to have
that middle ground. Because if it's
feeling,
like,
you want to feel like you belong and that you make a difference.
That's what we need as humans. Like our number one thing is connection. We need that sense of like connection. But yeah, because we can't keep going bouncing from white to black. Because it's like we be in a white area, I get tired of the white people. I'll go in the black area, get tired of it. And it's like keep bouncing back and forth. It's like we need that middle ground.
Do we have a mixed place that we can go out for drinks? And is there a mixed restaurant and a mixed culture? Is there one?
No, I wish. It's gonna happen soon. Don't worry.
I hope so. That's what I'm hoping for. That's my feeling in my heart. I would just hope that people will be able to go somewhere where it's just about them and they don't have to choose to be black or white. They can just be themselves.
Absolutely. So yeah, that's where I'm at. I've had a lot of amazing, wonderful people reach out to me, like business owners that are like catering to black or not black, but to biracial people, to mixed people, like like they have like fashion brands that are in New York too. She's in New York.
Could you name some name? Could you put the names in the chat possibly?
Yeah.
So people know.
So I will put them in the chat.
Okay, thank you, because that would be nice to look those people.
With her soon. She's a CEO of this company.
Okay, I think I saw that on your channel. Yeah. I think you did say something like biracial business or CEO. I think I did see that.
I asked her to if I could do an interview with her. She's like, yeah, of course. So I'm like, all right.
That would be nice.
I'm doing an interview with her soon, and then I'm talking to a biracial therapist reached out to me. And so we're talking about like, raising awareness in the mental health field so we could get resources because we were talking, she's like, it's just white and black. Then I asked her to do an interview too. And then she's like, yeah, of course, it'll help people so.
It does. I think if you have great like mental resources, like, how to deal with some, like say online bullying, that to me is groundbreaking because there's so many people that are suffering from being bullied online and offline because they've even taken it offline now. Yeah. Like, they talk about this. I remember a young lady that committed suicide. They were bullying her offline as well. Like they would talk about her online, make fun of her, take pictures and make fun of her. And then when they would see her, they would harass her that way as well. And then she ended up, deleting herself. So I mean, it's good to have these resources.
Yeah.
How to deal with online bullying.
And then check this lady out too. She's another lady that reached out to
bullying, not being accepted by a certain group. I'm glad. Are you going to interview the therapist as well, or?
Yes, I'm going to do the interview with the therapist. I'm gonna send out her. I'm gonna post her.
Oh, that would be nice if you interviewed her eventually. That would be really good. Oh gosh, I think that would be a huge life.
I've been supporting because it's about having a demand for it. Like we have to demand these type of services, right? Like nothing's going to get done unless we live in capitalism, right? So if nobody's getting paid, like if there's a biracial therapist, they can't make their rent. It's like we have to make sure we're using these services. That's why I'm so big supportive of biracial businesses, because if there's no demand for it, they're not going to exist. you know? They're not gonna get it.
Exactly. And this, we have to
We
support them because we
have
can't
to
complain
support them.
saying, like, we can't continue to complain saying, oh, where
Yeah.
are our resources and we're not supporting anybody. So I think it's
Correct. That's
important that
why
you said that and you're going to put that.
Vicky. I be spending lots of money. Like I always support her. I always support. Like I be spending a lot of money on these folks up there because it's like you gotta put your money where your mouth is, right? You gotta make sure.
That's
you know.
true. If you want it, you have to support it. That's true. I agree.
Yeah.
And I'm
I'm
glad that
watching.
you brought that up because I saw
Yes.
that on your channel. I was like, oh, that's really nice to
Mhm.
highlight someone who's biracial that has a business. I think that's wonderful.
Exactly.
Bye,
Exactly.
Mr. Louisiana. I guess Mr. Louisiana.
Bye. My bad. I'll be talking too much. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
My bad.
I
But
think it.
yeah, I do
I
think
think it was
that.
kind of done. Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully, it's good to hear new voices around here, though. I hope he comes back.
Thank you. I didn't really come. I didn't come on for a while because I was just getting. I was watching what was going on in the Golden
Mhm.
Sphere, I guess it was called at one point, and I just
Mhm.
didn't like what I was seeing or hearing. And I said, let me
Yeah.
distance myself from that because it's totally negative. And they're fighting some other kind of fight that has nothing to do with biracial issues, mulatto issues, mixed issues. They're not giving any kind of resource or any type of information that would help. They're just fighting each other at this point. So a mixed person fighting another mixed person. Wow, isn't that wonderful? You know,
It's
do we really
discouraging,
need
right? I felt very discouraged and disheartened by a lot of this stuff too.
do we
Like,
yeah, we don't need that.
and I'm like, what's
That's
the point?
that's what
Yeah,
we're
I
trying
don't
to
know.
get away from. We were trying to get away from all the negative energy. We're trying to get
Period.
away from all that fighting. You know, people were calling themselves divesting, but the divestors were the main ones causing the problems.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, okay, you're contradicting yourself. So I had to pull away from it. So I just pulled away. I said, I'm not going to do any lives for a while. I'll just see what's going on. And I'm glad I waited a while. I'm glad I waited.
It's good. Yeah, I think it's more chill now because yeah, I did that too. I pulled back for a long time and then I came back and my first video was about like healing and finding because if you don't have peace within, you're always going to stir conflict no matter where you go. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And a lot of us do deal with a lot of like inner conflict and stuff. So it's like just that was the first video I posted like towards like the mixed community is like how to find healing for like for multiracial people, for mixed people. That was like my first video. That was like a long time. I think that was a long time ago. I think it had to be a year by now, but I think it was. I just always wanted to promote healing so we could have peace, so we could have a healthy community because I feel like we deserve
exactly. Since it's so new and everybody has their different opinions, it's good to kind of fall back and see what's really going on. And then, as I said, there's some good things about it and some bad things, and you push the bad things out and you just hold on to the good things. That's what I did. And I said,
cut out the
and that's
bad.
what I did. Yeah, because I didn't want to be affiliated with channels that are racist. I even put that in my bio. I do not affiliate myself with racist channels. You know, you might be a mixed channel, but you're vilifying another group of people and calling them the N-word and all these other horrible words. I don't want to be a part of it. That's not who I am. That's something different. I don't know what that is. I mean, I'm not sure what that is, but I know it's super negative and it's slanderous and it can get you in a lot of trouble. So I don't want to be a part of it. I don't want to be a part of that.
I agree.
So my thing is kind of similar to you. I just want to be a resource, educational, show, all the great things that we've done thus far from the past to the present and the future of biracial people, mixed people, well, how far we've come. And then talking about what have we got online as resources. Do we have the resources? I don't think so. I don't think we have that yet. Exactly. I think there's I don't see too much support.
Exactly. That's what I'm all about is like spreading awareness because any little thing I find like that's like geared towards us or trying to cater towards us. Like there was like filmmaker, he's trying to talk about mixed race representation. So I'm always trying to share like just trying to spread awareness because there's a lot of stuff out there. We just gotta like all put it together and like put it in one so we could like just be aware of it. Like having
encapsulate it. It has to be kind of encapsulated so people go, oh, this is where I can find everything out about myself. This is where I can find all the information.
That like type of thing that's just all like coming together, and that's what I've been trying to do to spread awareness because there's people out there working on it. There's a lot of, like you said, there's a lot of us. So there's a lot of us that are thinking the same thing. We just gotta spread awareness and connect and find each other and kind of be like, oh, this connect. It's like a little jigsaw puzzle. Like we're all connecting little dots and like, putting it all together so we can have that full piece of the puzzle that we could have all the resources we need. If you need a biracial therapist, bam, bam, here's this. If you need,
I think that's important to have that. I think a biracial therapist is very important. At least if it's not even face to face, even online, just to be able to ask some questions. Because there's a lot of questions that are not resolved yet.
That's what I did exactly. Like online, we are blessed to live in this generation. Like with the online resources and stuff, like we don't have to drive 4 hours away to go see.
Exactly, you can just click online and there you go. You can speak with somebody. And I think the whole breaking down the walls between each mixed race culture, I think that's important. We have to let those walls down, see that we're all mixed. We're all coming. We have very similar experiences, and we have to connect in what we have in common, as opposed to saying, "Oh no, I'm not Spanish, so I'm not going to be with the Spanish ones because I don't speak Spanish."
Thank you.
Is that the language is the only thing that's keeping you away from being with your people? Learn a little Spanish, and they can learn a little English or whatever language you speak. That's superficial. We can still come in.
Because I'm all about right. I just did a post about that because people try to do the whole black mom versus white mom thing.
Ew! I hate that. I hate
it. It's like I respect differences. Like I can acknowledge and respect differences. Like of course, like no two humans are exactly the same on earth. There's always, no matter who you meet, they can be your twin. They're gonna be different from you, like in some ways. And it's about respecting the differences and
the trolls.
The
trolls are generalizing. They use that. That's what they do. The trolls will generalize any little thing and make it fact. Oh, they're all that way. They all hate black women, or they all hate black men. No, that's not true. We know it's not true. We know it's not true. So why put out that false narrative? Because you want to you're trying to stop us from being a entity. You want to stop us from being a group.
Exactly.
That's one of their tactics.
I absolutely agree. It's about division.
But it's about division. They want to conquer, divide and conquer. That's what the trolls do. Exactly. I don't know if these are black people, white people. I don't know who they are, or mixed people. I don't know who they are because half of them don't even have any content. They just come up, blah, 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 and they say, they put these horrible things out there just to get you off your game. But it's crazy.
It is. But my thing is, respect the differences, but focus on the commonality. Like there's commonality there. If you just look for it. Hi, Mulata.
Hi, Mulata. Hi, Mulata Vanguard. Hi, Bobby Lewis.
Hello. It's been such a good convo. I am loving.
We have to continue to have it because it's easy to forget where we are. That's why I was like, where are we? Where are we right now as a mixed community online? Do we have any? How far have we gotten?
Exactly.
And I feel like we have a long way to go.
We have a long way to go because it keeps getting destroyed. Like that has been my experience in these spaces. Trying to build something up and then it tears back down or it burns down and then you got to try to rebuild it. And it's like we have to be protective over the space. We have to make sure, this is not healthy. Like this ideology is not healthy for this. But it's like I like what Future said too about like so many people have different ideas about what they think the mixed race, and then that's causing like culture wars and like people were like, this is what best and this, and it's like it's.
You know what it is?
Hard.
You know what it is? You know what it is? It's diverse. We are diverse.
Let people want to have their ideology. Like let them have it. YouTube is big enough for everybody. Okay.
We're diverse. We speak different languages. Yes. We speak. We have different cultures, different food. Exactly. We live in different communities and states and countries. That's what we do know. So now we have to see what do we have in common. We can work from there. We accept our differences. Now let's look at what we have in similar. We're all humans. That's number one. We're all humans. Number two, we bleed the same color. And number three, we can love. We have love in our hearts. Yes. We want the best for ourselves. We want the best for our next generation, our kids. So we have those things in common. So we can go from there. And I always felt like these conversations have to continue because that's how we learn. Because I learned a lot from you and the other people that were on the panel. I learned so much about the different, like the CEO that you mentioned, the therapist that you mentioned, that Deirdre mentioned, the podcast that talked about being biracial. I didn't even know that. I didn't even know those things. And then Mulatto Northern Lights says, personally, I feel like if we move too fast, then the way it was built is how it will fall. That's true. I agree with that. It definitely has to be steady but sure, and a rock foundation, not a foundation of sand. That's
Yeah, we're
true.
trying to build too fast. You go about it the wrong way. I've seen that in these spaces when you're trying to like, attract attention. That's why all the drama and stuff happens so much because people are trying to attract fast attention in the wrong way, and then it's like it builds up and then it falls down because
Mhm.
it's not sustainable. So
Exactly. It's
I agree.
I totally agree because there's a channel that I was trying. I guess I was subscribed to this person, but I unsubscribed because they talk about is being pretty and how pretty they are, and
I
how
know he's about.
pretty they are, and how pretty
I
they are.
stopped
I'm like,
watching
well,
him too. I ain't gonna lie. I
can
ain't
we
gonna
move
lie.
on from just the pretty thing? Because that's what we've been told that we are. We're pretty, and we've been sexualized, and we've been pedestalized, and we're just a preference. But
Yeah,
can we be a three-dimensional human being and have political views? And can we
exactly.
talk about social issues? Can we talk about
Yeah, you got
education?
diversity. Yeah, there's other things, right? There's other.
So
Yeah.
yeah, we can go. We can like move on. Now we know you're pretty. Can we move on? Can we move on to other stuff? Because you've
I don't
already
think
been
so.
sexualized. So we don't want that. I don't want to be the preference. I don't want to be that. I
Right.
really don't. I don't want to
Yeah.
be put on in that, oh,
People
you're
use
just
the
be
word.
quiet and be pretty. I don't
Mhm.
want to be that. I don't want to be that person. I want to be somebody that has something to say. Oh, yes, Mr. Negron, you can join. Let me put Mr. Negron on. Sorry, let me put the link in the bio. Ah. Okay, let me get Mr. Negron. Because I know I think Abby from New York is doing a live too. Go ahead,
Yes,
Mr.
she
Negron.
did.
I put the link in the bio for you. Jose Negron. Okay, there we go. He's coming up. And he has some great content. Hello, Mr.
Good
Negron.
evening.
¿Cómo estás? Can you hear us?
Muy bien. Well, first of
Oh,
all, thank you very much for allowing me on your. Yes, I can hear you.
you are
First of all, thank you
very
very much.
welcome.
Thank you very much for allowing me on your platform. I just subscribed to your channel tonight.
Oh, thank you. Yay. I need to subscribe to you.
Awesome.
I haven't done it yet.
Oh, wow. But yeah, Jose, I'm gonna go ahead and go because I told Abby I'd be part of her panel.
Thank
y'all
you,
have a wonderful
Magic,
night.
for
It's been
coming
fun
by. I
talking.
really appreciate your feedback.
Absolutely, it's been great. A really great conversation. I hope we keep going forward. I think we're on the right track. Like your
I think
mindset
so
is
too.
focusing on, like what we have in common and focusing on the next generation and focusing on what needs resources. And I think it's perfect. I think that'll move us forward into where we'll have a real community and real. So yeah, Jose, I'll talk to you in the Discord. Okay.
Stay
Okay, no
blessed.
problem.
Bye. Have a good night, everybody.
Stay blessed. Hi, Mr. Negron. How are you? What's on your mind?
Well, okay. Well, I just concluded a stream that I did on my main platform.
Okay.
Called "Let the Circus Be the Circus." Basically, it's dealing with all the trauma that's been occurring in these YouTube streets.
Mm-hmm.
I want to make it clear: it's not directed towards the mixed community per se. What it is. You have individuals in different communities where
Mm-hmm.
they love to create drama. They cannot stand people with a different point of view, and they're constantly attacking others.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the whole purpose. That was the whole purpose of the stream. And of course,
Mm-hmm.
Basically, just to give you an idea, that what I try to do on my channel, I try to create a safe space for everyone to share their point of view regarding
Thank you.
everyday issues.
Thank you.
Okay.
I'm glad that you said the safe space because that's what's important. That's why I pulled back because I couldn't deal with all of the harassment and the bullying from quote unquote mixed people. I don't know if they're really even mixed people because of the way they're acting. It doesn't sound like they understand our situation. And it's counterproductive what they're doing, and it's their business. But I can't be a part of the yelling and the screaming and slandering and threatening. I don't do that. I don't do that. Mm-mm. And I'm glad that you have a channel that's polar opposite. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, actually, I have two channels. I have one channel which is Uncommon Sense with Jose Negron,
Okay.
and I have another channel called Golden Spear Folk, where it's devoted to deal with mixed people's issues. So I wanted to address those issues in a safe environment.
Hmm. Now, may I ask you about the golden sphere a little bit? Oh, what do you
Yeah.
think? How would you define golden sphere?
Uh, my understanding, and I could be wrong, is dealing. Okay, it is dealing with those mixed individuals who are light skinned.
Okay. Hmm.
That's my understanding.
Okay. That's how I see it as well. And that word change, it seems like it changed over time into something that was racist. That's how I felt about it, because I used to call my channel the Golden People, and I changed it because it almost became, not that I don't want to mention their names, but they made it into like a racist thing, like a colorist thing, which it wasn't supposed to be. It wasn't about being colorist. It was just about talking about people that are light skinned and mixed. That's all that was. But they changed the wording of it, and they made it into something negative. And so I pulled back from it. But I'm glad that your channel isn't like that. Thank the Lord. I'm glad that you're talking about positive things and
Well,
what we need to work on. Hmm.
I mean,
And
look, I'm
mhm.
I'm I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, you
See, on
first,
my
please.
platform, okay, but on my platform, so have spent a considerable time dealing with issues regarding mental health, because ever since the onset of COVID-19, um,
Hmm.
depression, anxiety, and multiple issues, cause people to get, they get emotionally damaged in one form or another.
Hmm.
But okay, like I said before, that's my understanding. I don't claim to be an expert on it, so that's how I understand it. But
But I
I
like.
have dealt with issues like depression.
Okay.
I have dealt with how to deal with grief. I dealt with how to get a qualified therapist.
Hmm.
I dealt with what not to say to a person that's grieving. I also
That's
uh,
important.
I
Definitely.
also dealt with the I also issue regarding suicide.
Wow. Those are some heavy, weighty subjects. Definitely need to be addressed. I'm glad that you're
Yeah.
addressing it on your channel. That's very brave,
Yeah.
because we need that, because we were talking about that a little earlier, that we need
Well,
mental health resources for people, online. And it's good that you have a channel
well,
like that, because not everybody's able
to
to
be
go out.
honest,
Hmm.
we're living in. See, we're living in a society where men are not encouraged to admit they need that they have mental health issues, because we're
Very
supposed to be
true.
tough and strong and what have you, or and what have you. So therefore, whenever any male that they're having mental health issues, unfortunately, they are ostracized.
That's true. Very true. And we need to be able to,
Okay.
people, men and
Now,
women, need to be able to talk about their issues and get some results, some resolution.
yeah. Now, to be perfectly honest, this is the first time I came across your channel, and I came across it because I happen to be in the district.
Hmm. I don't get on too often. I kind of pulled
Um,
away from this whole platform because it was so negative at some point, and I had to pull away from it and just think, what do I want to do with this channel, and what do I want to be? I just want to be more educational, and I don't want to be a drama channel.
yeah, I hear. I unfortunately we have a lot of drama channels as is. Um,
Yeah.
we have individuals that have multiple health issues, and instead of devoting their time in YouTube, they need to devote their time to seek a therapist to deal with
Yes,
whatever emotional trauma that they have experienced.
exactly. Exactly. And that's what's been happening. They're projecting their problems onto YouTube and to YouTube channels and vilifying and harassing and bullying people and creating tons of content related to that when they could be doing something positive and helping themselves to get themselves better before they come online. I agree.
Yeah. Unfortunately, until you're at that stage where you perceive that you need help, you're not going to get it.
That is true. Because closed mouths don't get fed.
Mhm. Yep. It is sad. It is sad, but true. Um, and it's very, a person can be brave and when they are. It's another thing when you deal with the person face to face.
Yes, that is true. That is true. It's a whole nother ball game. Confrontation face to face is totally different.
No, now, yeah. Now I couldn't help. Yeah, I couldn't help. I couldn't help but see that you have in your avatar.
My avatar? Do you mind repeating? I couldn't hear the statement.
Okay. Do you hear me?
Oh, I can hear you now. You said something about the avatar?
Yes, I said I couldn't help but notice the charming young lady that's on your avatar.
Okay. These are pictures. These are not me or anyone that I know. It's a picture from the internet, just as a it's just to use it just for this channel. It's not me or anyone that I know. But she's lovely.
Okay. I didn't mean to pry. I just made an
Oh
observation.
no. Oh, that's okay. No, no, I'm just the pictures that I have for this avatar are what I got off the internet. My real pictures I don't put up anymore because of what I saw was happening with people taking people's pictures, slandering them, making videos about them to harass them, and I didn't want my pictures to be out there like that. So I just use random pictures now because I have a job, I have a livelihood. I don't want to be put out there in a negative way for no reason, just because somebody wants to be a troll, to be hateful. So I just put random pictures that I find on the internet.
Okay.
I mean, just for protection. I need to protect myself because I have a lot that I'm trying to do. And if I get somebody that hates me because I said something that they didn't like, and they take your picture and they make 3 to 4 hour long videos about you and they slander you, it's just not, it's not worth it. I try to do YouTube as an educational tool.
Believe it or not, I understand what you.
Mhm.
Believe me, I understand. I have seen people do reaction videos about me, referring to myself as a all white, senile, lone man.
Oh, that's
First
not,
of all, I'm not
that's
white. I'm
horrible.
Latino. Okay.
That's horrible.
2, I'm not lonely. I do have friends. I do have a support a core group that watches my content on a regular basis. So,
Mhm.
Unfortunately, you have some people projecting. You have some people that have issues. Uh, Basically, the reason why people have issues with me, it's either because of my content or because of the people that I choose to hang with.
Mhm. And I have a question for you. How do you feel like the mixed community or biracial community or golden community, mulatto community, do you think we've gotten far as far as online presence and resources?
Okay, I do see the certain subgroups that are making their presence
Mhm.
felt.
Okay.
Uh, like like the mulattoes, um, the golden spear, and other subgroups, which unfortunately I am not that well versed. Some of them,
Mhm.
they are making their influences felt. Okay, but I think if they really ever gonna grow as a community, they have to unite within their own subgroups, and sometimes
Mhm.
that could be a problem because you have um, certain individuals within a subgroup that have different viewpoints on where the community can should go, which as a result sometimes it forms conflicts, and sometimes those conflicts can be shown in these YouTube streets. I think before
Mhm.
we I think before we even talk about a space for mixed people, the sub people within the subgroups need to unite amongst themselves. And then you have certain subgroups that do not want to unite with the other mixed people,
Mhm.
and which is perfectly fine. But realistically speaking, if you're trying to do something new, um, you're going to need allies. And when I mean allies, I mean people that may not necessarily belong to your group, but are concerned about the issues of the group and are willing to learn what are those issues and lend their presence to make that group known.
I see. Okay. So what would you like to see more as far as online resources, websites for mixed people? What would you like to see?
Um, well, I think what they need to do is they need to define what are the needs, and then
Mhm.
based on that, trying to find a way to satisfy those needs. Um, because when you fail to plan, you plan to fail. But once, let's just say the MGMs or the mulattoes or what have you, uh, they need to reach some sort of consensus regarding what are their needs, and then try to brainstorm to address those needs. And they're the ones that's best qualified to see what those needs are. As much as I can learn regarding what are the issues that say MGMs, oblations, or mulattoes or golden spear. As much as I can learn and I could be sympathetic, it's not the same thing as actually experiencing those differences. If that makes any sense.
It does. What I would like to see, I would like to see, as we mentioned, the mental health resources should be part of the equation. Also, there needs to be education about mixed history or biracial or golden history, the truth about who our people were and how they contributed to history in America and abroad that have not been one dropped into a particular group. Either they are white or they're black, but they're never mixed. I think that we need to understand what mixed history is and name those names and have their histories told. Also, I would like to see a sense of leaving a legacy for the next generation, um, from the people that are in music, politics, from one spectrum to the other. I think that needs to be on a website where it's you can go there and you get all of your answers met just by going to that particular website. That I can go there and go, oh, okay, I know who the first biracial president is, and I know who's the first the vice president who was mixed. I mean, I just want that to be a resource for people to be able to look up, get answers from mental health to politics to lifestyle. I think we need that. I think that's how it would look for me.
Yeah. Well, I think what some of these creators need to do, instead of spending time doing reaction videos because people that have beefs with, they should actually devote their time and energy trying to develop resources for their respective communities. I mean,
Mhm.
if they can do that, that will go a long way in creating the goals that they state that they want to achieve.
I agree. I agree. I think that the more negative channels should really just wake up and say that they're doing more harm than good. Because what they're doing is they're showing that they're no different from the people that they said that they're divesting from. They're doing exactly the same thing. So it's hypocritical in a sense. And I'm not here to talk about them per se, but since you brought it up, I thought that was a good example. They should put more effort into educating people about what mixed people are, coming together on what we have in common, as opposed to vilifying other mixed people. It's like crabs in a bucket, from what I see.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Like I said before, if people can just spend less time and energy, um, attacking each other and whatnot, and just focusing on what is the mission. What is the mission? I mean, what is the ultimate goal when it comes to mulattoes? What is the ultimate goal when it comes to MGMs? What is the ultimate goals when it comes to Blasians or Golden Spear people or light skinned people or any subgroup? They need to define what are those issues
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
and then work on it.
Exactly. And
And
it takes
don't
work.
allow them and don't allow themselves to be sidetracked.
Exactly. And it takes work. And it takes hard
Yeah,
work
it does
because
take work.
learning about yourself is not easy. To accept who you are is not the most easiest thing. To see who you are in your whole entirety is not easy. So that's what I've been doing. That's all I've been doing since day one when I started this channel, is trying to figure out who am I? Where do I fit in? Why aren't we relevant in today's society? Why are we always one dropped or just really forgotten? And we're not on any census, we're not on any forms where we can check a box saying this is who we are. I wanted to know more about that. And so that's been what I've been doing. My research has been figuring out who am I, who are we, what are our end goals. And I think our end goal is to be recognized and validated in America and abroad. We need our name on forms legally, on forms where people say these are the golden people, or whatever our name will be given, whatever name we have. But we should be able to have that, just like Black people have it, white people have it, Asian people have it. Why can't we have it? We're different. We're not Black, we're not white, we're not Asian. We're a mixture. We're not Native American. We're a mixture of everything. So why can't we have our space? So my end goal is to get us to be recognized.
Actually, I have a solution. When it comes to the census, that you leave a blank space and let everyone self-identify and fit.
I love that. That's so simple, isn't it? that is the most simplest answer is the best answer. That is it. You hit the nail on the head. Just let people write in what they believe that they are, how they identify. I agree with that. Simple.
I mean, you don't have to create a special category. You can just leave a blank space and leave it to the individual discretion how they wish to identify themselves.
That's the best answer I've heard so far. The best. So simple.
Okay.
I like that.
Yes. Unfortunately, the problem is that suggestion is it makes too much sense.
It makes too much sense. And then it takes the power away from the racist. And we live in a racist country. America is racist, built on it.
Yeah.
It's built on racism. We have homes on top of graveyard sites. I mean,
this country.
Very.
This country has been racist from the onset, and even before the birth of this country, but 1619, when for the first group of so-called indentured servants came to the U.S.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. I think it was the Irish.
But
and yeah,
mm-hmm.
It's based on racism. Yeah. So I think to dismantle it would be taking the power away from our government. And I know they don't want that to happen.
Nope.
They're making billions and trillions of dollars off of it. So they're not going to let that happen. So, but we can have our own groups. We can have our own say in our own communities. We can do that. At least that much.
Yes.
And even if
it's been my
go ahead.
It's been my pleasure just being on your panel. I do have to get off.
Thank you, Jose.
Hopefully you will be doing your streams on a regular basis.
I plan to. I do want to do more because I think we're getting somewhere. Okay. I think we're getting somewhere. Yeah. Positive. Thank you so much for coming on to the panel. I appreciate your feedback.
Thank you very much. And a huge shout out. Thank you. And a huge shout out to you and a huge shout out to everyone in the chat. Have a good night. Take care. Peace.
Thank you, Jose. Take care. Stay blessed. That was very nice because he's one of the gentlemen that I've heard, and I've seen his videos, and he's always trying to get people to be positive, trying to bring people together, trying to stop with all the drama stuff that's going on. He addresses it. I've heard a couple of things where he addressed it, but he's not part of that. And I love the fact that he's not. And I see that there's a lot of people that don't want to be a part of that negative energy, whatever that is. I don't even know if those people are even mixed, who are even causing the drama. They could just be plants, agents, people pretending to be mixed and then going after other mixed people. It doesn't make sense. Because when I first started coming onto these channels and I started seeing mixed people going after other mixed people, and then I would go on to see, who are these people? Are they really who they say they are? They don't have a lot of them don't even have content, not one video. I'm like, how do you trust people with not even one video of anything, any topic, any general topic, nothing? It's just a generic channel with no followers, no content, and they're saying negative things about mixed people, and they're saying that they're mixed. I don't think that they're mixed. I think they're trolls. Definitely agents coming here to curtail, circumvent mixed people from trying to have a say-so in their own lives. That's all we want, to have our own narrative. That's it. I just want my own narrative. I'm not trying to take over the world. I'm not trying to take over this or that or YouTube. I just want my own space. That's it. And in conclusion, I think that we all want the same thing. I think all we want is to be recognized, validated, have our own say about who we are, and be able to interact and network and connect with each other. That's really all I think we want. I think there's power in numbers, political power especially, that can actually change the trajectory of a city or a state or a country. So that's another reason why I think we need to come together, because we need to have a say-so in our own lives. We have to have, we need to be able to say, this is what we are and this is what we're doing. The fact that we don't have a category, and it's 2023, and we're moving, now we're in February, Black History Month. When are we going to have Mixed History Month? When are we going to have, quote unquote, mulatto month? We don't have anything like that. Everything's broken up. Either it's Italian or French, or I mean, it's always these little other categories, but we're never included. We are broken up into different percentages, and we shouldn't be broken up into different percentages. I never liked this whole half black, half white thing. I really never liked that. I just went along with it because that's what people understand. But I don't like the percentages. I'm a whole person. I am mixed. I'm a mixed person. I identify as Creole or Creole. You can say Creole or Creole, however you want to put the accent on. But I identify as Creole. That's who I am. I don't think I need to be anything other than that. I don't need to break myself up into, I have 2% this, and I have 10% that, and then I have 20% this, and I'm about 40% of that. I'm not going to do that. I'm done with that DNA crap. All that does is make people question who you are as a whole person. If you don't give your percentages and you don't get into a whole breakdown thing, they won't be able to gaslight you. They won't be able to come at you in such a negative way. I'm a whole person. I'm Creole. You don't like it? That's fine. You love it? That's wonderful. I'm only going to interact with people that love me and that respect me. I'm not going to go and entertain sheer stupidity and depravity. I'm not going to allow that into my circle. And I would suggest other people not to be a part of that drama, because all that drama does is they're slandering people, they're vilifying people, and actually you could sue them for that. They can actually be sued for slander. You can take those people to court, take those videos that they have about you, and you can actually sue those people. You could shut them totally down, and they would have to pay a fine, and they will be on probation, and see how their life goes after that. Because that's what people need to do in order to totally obliterate online harassment. Take these people to court. It's against the YouTube guidelines anyway. It tells you not to slander people. It tells you not to harass and bully people, but that's what they're doing. So those people need to be shut down. Seriously. If somebody's using your photos and they're making slanderous things about you and vilifying you and really attacking you, get all that information, go to court, and take them to court and sue them. That's the way you deal with that kind of stuff. Because going back and forth is not going to do anything. Because that's what they want. They want you to be upset. They want you to be, feel bad about yourself. They want you to feel scared or whatever the case may be. Take them to court. Sue those people. It's slander. It's against the law to harass people, and hate speech. It's against the law. So that's how you have to deal with that. So, but thank you guys for coming to this chat. It's 3 hours and 27 minutes. We've been on here for a while, but I want to thank everybody, because I don't do lives very often. This is like my second live. I was going to do lives in the past, and I didn't like where the energy was. The energy was it wasn't where I thought it should be. I thought it was just way too negative. And that's why I pulled away. I said, well, no, it's just too negative. What am I going to get out of this by arguing with someone who hates me, who's obviously not mixed? And if they are mixed, it really doesn't make any sense for you to hate another mixed person when we're trying to come together. Does that make any sense? Please make that make sense. We're both mixed, but then you're going to hate me because I have a different opinion about something. I didn't agree with something. Can we have a dialogue? Isn't that what intelligent people do? But instead of certain people being intelligent, they go straight to the gutter and they start these slanderous bullying tactics, which are against the law. And you can sue them, take them to court. I've seen many people go to court and get sued for slander and lose. And those people who were slandering, they lost. Okay. And they were fined, and they were put on probation. They were banned from social media. Come on, it can be done. I just feel like people let certain things slide, and they let certain things go, and they don't want to cause any more drama, but they've already done it. They've already put your name out there, your image out there, and now they're slandering you. I don't get that part. But then you say that you have a channel that's supposed to be a safe space, but then you're making reaction videos slandering other people. How is that a good thing? How's that good for the community? If you're mixed, if you say you're mixed, how is that good for the community? How in the world do you contradict yourselves and say, oh, I have a safe space, but then you're attacking people for 2 to 3 hours? That's why I don't get involved in all that madness, because that's what it ends up being. Madness. People hating you that you don't know, you've never met them, you probably won't ever meet them, but they hate you to your core because you disagree with something. And that's how it usually starts. Somebody didn't give a thumbs up on something. Oh, you didn't say something nice about what I said, or you agree with somebody else that I don't like. So it becomes this like petty, extremely immature community. I don't want to be a part of that. So I think that we clearly see who's the intelligence people, and we clearly see people that are not trying to be intelligent, because it doesn't take much to open a book and read it and figure things out. I mean, it doesn't take much to do that. So I'm not a drama channel. I'm not a colorist channel. I don't hate Black people. I love Black people. I love white people. I don't hate white people. So I'm just talking about the issues, putting some stuff out that will be more educational about our advancements and some of our achievements. That's really what I started out doing. And if this channel never gets past 400 subscribers, it doesn't matter to me. I'm not worried about the subscription. All I want to do is leave a resource for other people that are mixed people, that are the next generation, who could probably come to this channel and say, hey, this person has some really great content. I learned something here. I can start researching and looking things up on my own and try to dismantle the lies that have been put out about mixed people, that we don't exist, or that we're tragic, we don't know who we are, we don't fit in. Those are some of the false narratives. We know who we are. You don't know who we are. That's all that is. And I think that it should be known that we do exist and that we're here, we are valid, we have a community, and hopefully that's what I leave here as a legacy. So thank you guys for coming in and watching this live. I got a lot of answers. Because even if I don't agree with everyone, we don't have to agree. That's the beauty of it. We can have disagreements. And we can, just like we did on this channel, talk about our disagreements in a mature, intelligent manner. We didn't have to call each other names. We didn't have to go off on each other and talk over each other and yell and scream. It wasn't necessary. We were able to have a calm, cool, and collected conversation. And that's all I was asking for. How far have we gotten as a mixed community? How far has the mixed community gotten online? Do we have resources? Can we go online and type in mixed people resources and actually come up with a website that actually is comprehensive, detailed, and has real resources and resolution and answers? Do we have that? We don't have that. Now, maybe back in the early 2000s, there was a couple of websites that catered to us, like mulatto.org, and there was a couple of the biracial .com and stuff like that. There was a couple, but those are gone now. And the reason why we don't have anything is because nobody's taken the time to create anything. Everybody wants to be quiet and sit in their corner, and as long as you're good, you don't want to speak, because as long as you're doing okay. So that's kind of like, okay, so but what about all these other people that need to know what's going on? Because we have authors, we have biracial authors, we have biracial TV creators, sitcom and drama, TV creators. We have politicians who are biracial. We have teachers and professors who are biracial. I mean, we have actors that are biracial, singers that are biracial. We have all these people that are not being recognized as being mixed or biracial, golden, whatever the case may be. They're not being recognized. They're being one dropped. And then you're just Black. You're not who you are. You're something else. We're going to put you in this category because it's comfortable for you, but it's not comfortable for me. So that's what I was trying to say. So hopefully we can have this discussion again. Thank you guys for coming to my live. I appreciate everything that you've said and the contribution that you've given. And have a great, blessed night. And we will talk to you soon. Bye.